Fingers trace the skyline's edge. Promises will never hedge. Whisper soft and urban sound. In this love, we're tightly bound. Fingers trace the skyline's edge. Promises will never hedge. Whispers soft and urban sound. In this love, we're tightly bound. So the stars just hum our tune. We orbit like the sun and moon. Guitar solo sings our truth in the glow of you. Love and ocean, hearts collide. Under stars where dreams reside. Lost in music, found in bliss. Every touch, stolen kiss.
Hello? Oh, hello. Just come on like that. Okay, let me turn this music off. Yeah, I thought I'd have an interesting start today. A bit more exciting, a bit more, I don't know. I thought it kind of sounded good with that music on. You tell me what you think. Because if you like that, that's one of the songs that I managed to create myself. So if you like it, you can find it on Discord anyway. I think I put it on Discord. If not, it will be on Discord later on tonight. Anyway, well, thank you for being here. Hopefully everything's working. There's no problems. Looks like the mic's working. Looks like the camera's working. So we're all good to start the show tonight. I've got a lot to talk about tonight, to be honest with you. But anyway, I'm here. Last night was fun. So I thought I'd come back for another night of fun. Hopefully, let's see who joins. Let's see who's here. Basically, what happened last night? We did a show. And I actually included the movie club, the new section that I'm doing. And tonight I'm actually going to add YouTube Watch. One moment, I'll explain it all to you. I just want to say hello, Jesse. Nice to see you here tonight. Thank you for being here. Okay, let me just explain what's happening. So basically, yesterday I did a show Friday night. I did it a bit later because it just took me forever to get online, and we covered. Basically, I've created 2 new video sections on my channel, which is like the movie club and YouTube Watch, and they're only for community members. But I thought what I'd do is last night I'd just share them with everybody because it's like the first week that's properly being launched. So I thought I'd share it with everyone. So it ended up that the show ended up being like, I think it was nearly like 4 hours long because I did that. And because I don't learn anything, I'm going to do the same tonight. I'm going to do the YouTube Watch during this show. So I'm not just going to do like the normal show that I do on the evenings where I watch a few videos, we chat. I'm going to do the YouTube Watch section as well. So let me try and make this clear. YouTube Watch and the movie club are going to be privated. They're only for community members. This week I'm going to share them with you all, but next week they're going to be completely private. So you have to be a member. And there's been quite a few people signing up to it already. So, just because they're all signing up now, I can give it free this week, but next week it's got to be private just for them. And I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to do that. But today we're going to do it. We're going to have a look at, there's going to be a video today, and that's going to be a YouTube Watch video. So I'll explain it all once we get into it. Oh, hello, Franny. Nice to see you here tonight. I'm doing the YouTube Watch video tonight. So you can watch it during the show if you want, but I'm also going to put it in the private section later on. So anyway, today I saw a few new members join, so I'd like to thank them. In fact, 2 members joined just before the show started. So let me see if I can show you on here. Yeah. No, I'm not going to be doing very great with names if I if I don't know your name that well. So Margia van Dirk. Correct me. You have to correct me, or if you want me to use a different name or something like that, let me know. Yes, and community member, you became a community member. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for that. And I know you joined Discord already. So yes, if you're a member, don't forget to join the Discord as well, because you'll get access to the private chat, and there's a lot of people in there who are already members, and they can share a lot of information if there's any questions you have or anything like that. It's a good community to be part of. So I do say, if you're a member, definitely join the Discord as well. Now let me just check, because I know we've got another member as well, but I want to just double check their membership on here. So bear with me 1 minute. Just before the show, let me see. Just refresh this. You have to bear with me 1 minute because I got to check this first. Yeah, we do have another member. Okay. So it's I think it's Harriet. Okay, Harriet. Let me just double check, and I can put it on the screen. Put you on the screen here. Okay, so we have another member. Yes. Looks like Harriet. Jasmina. Okay, well, nice to meet you here, Harriet. Thank you for becoming a channel member. It really means a lot. And thank you for being here. So Harriet, you joined the channel support, so you'll have access to the Sunday show, which is tomorrow. So we do a private show just for channel supporters and community members, and that's every Sunday. So you'll have access to that. So thank you for being here. It really means a lot to me. Now let me just check if anyone else. Okay. So today's been a bit of a crazy day for me. I knew I was going to come live today. I think I knew last night. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to do a live show tonight. But what happened was, I was like, I want to do like, I like doing these type of shows because they're kind of more organized. Like, I have my videos lined up to show you and chat with you and talk about different things. So I have a lot planned, and I can do many things when I'm with you on this type of show. But I also want to do some shows that try and just like spontaneous, where I just go on camera and we just chat. And I even said, like, I've got a PS5. I'm not really a gamer. I'm not like a big gamer or anything like that. But just like most people, it's fun. I like doing it. And so I thought, you know what I could do? I'll when I want to do some gaming, I could do some gaming and just chat with you. So I thought that'd be kind of cool as a hangout. And I was hoping to do it today. But I got up this morning. I went to bed pretty late last night because we did the show, and then I kind of ended up staying up. I was watching stuff on YouTube, chilling out myself. My friend had been out clubbing last night, and then she got back late. So we were chatting quite late at night. And then I ended up sleeping like, I mean, it was late. I know it was after 5 p.m. And I thought it was fine. I'll get up. Maybe I'll get up at 1 or 2, whatever. It's Saturday. It doesn't matter. And I ended up getting up at like 11, which, I didn't really have much sleep. And I could tell when I woke up this morning, I thought, oh, I don't feel good. I feel tired. I really should sleep longer. But I couldn't sleep. It's like one of those where you lay in bed and you think, I'll go back to bed. And, it didn't happen. So I got up and started my day, and I thought, well, I'm going to get the show ready. I needed to edit. In fact, I needed to edit stuff for this movie club as well. I was doing that, just doing a few things, getting myself sorted out for YouTube, and even the stuff for tonight for the show. I thought, well, I'm gonna get ready for the show and just get my thumbnail done and everything. And then I was just so tired, so I said, okay, I'll go back to sleep. So I don't know, it was like 4 o'clock or something. I ended up going back to sleep, and then I woke up about 7 p.m. and I was like, originally I was going to try and come live for about 8 p.m. or something tonight, and it was just like, nah, it's not gonna happen. So I just decided, like, I know it's late, but it's, or is it better late than never or something like that. So I just thought I'm just gonna come live anyway. So here I am. So I know it's later, and I don't know how that affects like regular viewers because we have like regular viewers. I know if you're probably in the States, it's probably not too bad. But in the UK, I mean, I know some of my viewers they go to sleep at this time. Like they normally leave the show at this time. It's like 9 o'clock. They say to me, I'm off to sleep now. So I'm pretty sure someone won't be able to make tonight. But if not, maybe they can catch it tomorrow, Sunday morning, hopefully. Um, so if you are watching this on Sunday morning, my UK viewers, well, good morning. um, but yeah, these things happen. I mean, I don't think I'll ever be able to just say, oh, I can definitely be ready at this time because what am I supposed to do when I'm falling asleep like that? You know what I mean? It's like, and I didn't want to do that. I was like, I'd prefer just stay up and then go bed early, but I couldn't do it. So I just want to sleep and yeah, woke up and I was like getting ready, and all I've done is since I got up is kind of got up, done my makeup, got ready for the camera, just done everything, and here I am. So I don't know, c'est la vie, but I'm here. And like I said, tonight we'll just see how it goes. I mean, to be honest with you, these are chilled out sections. I mean, I'm not serious about anything. Like I think be laid back about it, see where it goes. It doesn't matter if we don't cover certain stories. It's just if it happens, it happens. So yeah. As you know, I mean, anyone who's watching this now, you might be saying, "Oh, you like to talk a lot in the first part of the show." Yep, that's what I do. Normally for like the first half an hour to an hour, I just like to have a chat. I think it's good because it helps me to kind of relax into the show, and then I can basically, I don't know, I'm better at doing the show after that. So if you want to chat, probably the best time to chat with me is the first hour. So you can put anything you like in the comments. Well, not anything you like. I mean, obviously in reason. Um, you do need to be a subscriber to be able to comment in the chat section. But if you subscribe now, in an hour's time, you'll be able to chat. But please don't come in the chat section if you're just here to troll because you'll just get blocked, basically. Anyway. What else can I tell you tonight then? So yeah, we've had a few new channel supporters. And so we really thank all those people that have become channel supporters and community members. I also want to thank everybody who's been supporting the channel in the last, I don't know, for the last couple of months. Actually, it's been. I mean, you're really making it now possible for myself to keep doing this channel. And it's really, it's getting to the point where I mean, I can now do this more full time, which is great. I mean, it's still not a full time job. I don't really. There's not enough so I can do this full time, but there's enough there that I can make it more of a full time thing. So I just thank everybody who's been who's a supporter, and thanks for your continuous support. It really means a lot. Now I just apologize that when I come on live, I can't always be live at the right time for all of you. Let me see. I got Jesse. It's us, the viewers, who should thank you for this. Well, thank you, Jesse. Well, it does. It just means a lot to me because I think I said to you all before that I started to do this after the Supreme Court ruling. I was trying to find where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, and I had this channel. And I've been doing this channel for a while. And it was kind of like I didn't really know what the future of this channel was going to be. I didn't really go in front of the camera that often. I just did it occasionally. And a lot of the time I used like AI. I did a lot of AI stuff. I don't know. It was like AI was getting popular and I thought people were more interested in the AI stuff. So I just did AI and I did like stories and I did a lot of transition videos, and I thought that's what people wanted, and people did want that. Don't get me wrong, people did want that. But I always kind of felt a bit detached from it because I was creating it, but I wasn't there, and I felt like I was hiding behind the video, and I didn't like that. I don't like hiding away, and so it came to the point where I just said, just going to be me, and I'm just going to, I've got my thoughts, especially after the Supreme Court. I've got these thoughts, and I want to talk about them. And there's a lot of things I see in the news that people don't seem to talk about that affect trans people. And I just thought, well, I'm going to talk about it. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of the news stuff don't get many views. They don't get many views, and it's sad to see that, actually. But I'm still going to talk about it. I'm still going to stand up for it. And I mean, if you see my latest video, you'll see my thoughts on. I did a video recently, and it's had a lot of views, so I know people are watching that. So that's me. I'm more vocal, more visible, and that's what I want to be. Going forward. I don't want to be hiding behind some AI voice or something like that, because that's not my style. So here I am. I know I've got a massive bottle that I'm drinking out of, but I don't normally I don't normally buy these bottles, these big bottles. I normally I bought myself like a machine that does the gas, because I like sparkling water. So I bought this machine. And then what I do is I filter my tap water, and then I make the sparkling water myself. But my gas canister ran out, so I went up to the supermarket where I normally buy these gas canisters, and they're out of the gas canisters. So I mean, I'm thinking about buying them online from now on, because they're a bit unreliable, the local supermarket. But yeah, that's why I've got the big bottle. I thought I'd just tell you that. Just some random information, I tell you. Right, I'm going to put the fan on because it's got warm in here for some reason. It wasn't warm last night, but it's pretty warm in here tonight. You never know. You never know what the temperature is going to be like. When you do these shows, it's like sometimes you come in, it's been quite cold in my bedroom, and then today it seems like it's really warm, so I don't know what's going on. So I might as well explain a few things. There might be a few people that are clicking on this video and don't know how I normally do these shows, and I do really need to explain a few things. So you might see underneath me, somewhere here, you can see that I have a donation bar, and I have a thing that says support me at Buy Me a Coffee, and there's a little link there. Now, basically, what's happened is you can send, if you want to send a donation to this show, you can do, and it is extremely helpful if you do that. What happens is, if you send it via YouTube likes to take a big cut. So it's like you basically send in half your donation to me and then half your donation to YouTube. And that's fine if that's how you prefer to do it. But if you'd like to send me a donation, the best way to do it is to do it via Buy Me a Coffee, because it's more direct and they don't take a big cut. So if you want to send any donations tonight, big or small, you can do. It's via Buy Me a Coffee is the best way, but I do accept super chats as well. And every time we get a donation on this show, we do a thing called Spin the Wheel, and we'll spin a video, and we'll spin the wheel, and then we will watch a random video. So it's all fun, and like I say, it helps the channel. So any donation, and seriously, it can be $1, £1. It can be if you want to hit the goal tonight, which is £25. You can send £25. Absolutely up to you. It's you don't need to if you don't want to, but if you do, it's very much appreciated. Okay, so tonight we have had 2 new channel supporters and a community member. So I think I'm going to spin the wheel anyway to get started tonight. But yeah, I have a few things to talk about. But should we spin the wheel first, or should we talk about? I think we'll talk about a news story. Now, I'm going to talk about a news story because I did cover this news story before, and I think it's worth talking about. So we might do that first, and then I think I might end up spinning a wheel. But if you want to send a donation, please do, because it does help the channel. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this. I'm going to talk about this news story. Now, I haven't planned anything for this. I just saw it earlier on today, and I think I'm just going to randomly cover it. We'll see how it works. Normally, I plan this out, but I didn't really have time, to be honest with you, today to kind of work out everything how I was going to show this. But instead, what I'll do, I'll just share it. There we go. So anybody who follows my channel will know that I did a video. Well, I did 3 videos, in fact. It was a bit of a crazy time on this this issue. What happened? So there was a transgender woman, and she was basically, I have to explain all this, but okay, let me explain it all. Some of you might know, and if you've watched my videos, you'll know. So I won't need to explain it. But there might be some of you out there that haven't watched my videos, so you don't really know what this is about. So, a transgender woman jailed for deception, sexual assault. Okay. So this has been. I am going to say this has become a very hot topic. When I first came across this, I thought it was very clear cut to me. I'm just thinking like, so a transgender person has been, well, she hadn't been put in the jail when I first came across this. She was going to court, and what she was going to court over was that she had slept with a man, and this man, apparently he claims he didn't know she was transgender. So they met over Snapchat, I believe it was. So they were talking on Snapchat. They hooked up. He came over to her place, and they hooked up and they went to bed together. Now, what happened then was, apparently when they were intimate together, he wanted to have I don't like really talking about sexual things, but basically he wanted to have like full sex with her, shall we say? Okay. And she said to him, I can't, I'm on my period. That's what they've said, right? And then later on, after the incident, so basically they did foreplay and stuff like that, I presume. But they said there was something about penetration in the thing. So who penetrated who? I don't know how that worked, but okay, whatever. But he claimed he didn't know she was trans. And then so she decided to come out to him a few days later or something like that, told him that she was transgender. And then he basically said that he would never have consented if he'd have known she was trans. So, oh wait, I've got a message here about to say hello here. Hello, Rochelle, isn't it? Rochelle, hello. Good morning. It's morning, isn't it, for you? I'm pretty sure you're in New Zealand, aren't you? Good morning. Or good evening for us. Yes. I'm on late here again in the UK, but I guess it works out better for other countries. Anyway, thank you for being here tonight. So yeah, oh yeah, and thank you for you're a community member now as well. Thank you for being a community member as well. It really means a lot to me that. We got some new, like the movie club and YouTube watch videos. So look out for all the videos that are coming out. And if you need anybody who needs any help in the member section, just let me know. But best way to let me know is probably through Discord. I can chat more directly there. Anyway, back to this this story. So yeah, so she let him know, and then he reacted really badly with it. He said no, I didn't want that. Okay. And then he went to the police, because that's what you do, don't you? You know, when you this kind of thing, straight to the police, and accused her of basically assault. And then so we'll skip it ahead. They went to court, and she was found guilty. And then they said they were gonna obviously, when you're found guilty, they don't give you the sentence straight away. You go away for a bit, and then she returned back to be sentenced. I believe it was on Friday this week, yesterday. And she was found, well, she was already found guilty, but she was then sentenced. I believe she was sentenced to jail time. We'll look at that now. Actually, it's on here. Sentenced to jail time. Let's have a look. Let me have a look on the thing. So, transgender woman who lied to a man about being a biological female when she performed sexual acts with him has been jailed for 21 months. Right. So 21 months she's been jailed for. Sierra Watkins, victim, because because we don't know his name, which is fine because obviously, he's the one that's been claimed to be assaulted, so you don't get their names. Said he would not have consented to sexual activity if he had known she was a biological male. Durham Crown Court heard. Watkins, 21, and from Thornbury, or Stoke-on-Tees, has claimed the man would have realised her status, but juries found her guilty of sexual assault. Yeah, so she claims that he would have known anyway. Okay, to me that isn't, even though that's what she said as well, that's not the important thing to me. But I'm going to explain my opinion on this once I give you all the story. So right, yeah, recorded Peter, or whatever his name is. He said certainly the victims fully believed from the start to finish that Watkins was a female due to her lies and deception, because that's what she's been accused of, being deceptive. Watkins, who's born male, has used the name Ciara since childhood, but had not undergone any medical treatment or surgery. Just want me to butt in here, but so what? So what? If she's a trans woman, does she need to undergo any medical treatment or surgery to be a woman? No, she's a woman, right? So she doesn't need any surgery. Why is it always got to be? Well, you got to have the surgery. You know what I mean? Well, anyway. So the earlier trial in Tees court had heard. Okay, so that was the court before. Watkins and the victim were both 18 when they met on Snapchat, where the defendant used a female cartoon character as a profile picture. So I mean, that's another crazy thing. I mean, is that what people do nowadays? They go on Snapchat. She's using a cartoon character, and the guys go, "Yeah, I'll go meet her." I mean, I won't meet someone who showed me unless I got a real picture. I won't even talk with them. Anyway, before meeting in person and going to have sexual contact, prosecutor Paul Reed said Watkins, who was referred to in court by female pronouns, told the man she was on her period to stop him touching her below the waist, the court heard. When Watkins later revealed she was biologically male, the man filed a complaint to the police. He told officers that he had not known Watkins' history. He would not have consented. Okay, not swayed that way. Okay, that's offensive what he's done there. Anyway, but anyway, whatever. In a statement read to the court, the man said he's physically sick. Yeah, all right. Watkins revealed that she's a massive secret to him. He said he was shocked and upset, and began to see about how he felt ashamed and embarrassed and had been ridiculed online due to Watkins' actions and deception. So how was he ridiculed online? Who's going around spreading this anyway? Is she spreading it? Is he spreading it? Who's telling who? I mean, this is the bit I don't understand. So what, he went online, so she told him that she was trans. Then how did everybody else knew that? Or is that because they're young and they got loads of young friends and they all knew about it? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. The victim said, and also, this ridiculed online. Well, this shouldn't be happening anyway. So what? You slept with a trans woman. So what? What's the big deal? The victim said he was heterosexual male. Well, yeah, most men that sleep with trans women are heterosexual. They like women. They don't like men. They wouldn't sleep. They wouldn't if she'd presented male. It would like you said, he wouldn't sleep with her. She presents female, so he slept with her. Anyway, who would never think of sexual activity with a man? Well, she's not a man. She's a woman. And feel he had part of his masculinity taken away. So this to me is offensive. Anyways, you're saying that any man who sleeps with a trans woman is not masculine. So what are you saying? So you're saying that gay men aren't masculine? Because gay men sleep with men. So you're saying that you feel. So he says he felt that his masculinity was taken away because he slept with a trans woman. I'm sorry, but you don't have masculinity then if you feel that way. Because that's like saying that gay men aren't masculine, and it's bullshit. You know what I mean? Wanted to be loved. Okay, so was it Butler said Watkins' offense was not an act of a predator or sadistic behavior, but were driven by shame and a deeper sense of discomfort with her own body, rather than malicious intent to deceive. Okay. Still, I don't want to read all this because there's a lot to read. So, because I think you get the picture. So he truly hates the idea of sleeping with a trans woman. We can see that, right? But he did, and she didn't tell him. And obviously, she's as a trans woman, she's claiming she's a trans woman. So I think at this point, I can just give you my own. I think I just give you my own side of this. It doesn't say what prison she go in, but is she gonna be in a well, I've got another thing I'm gonna share in a bit, so we might actually have something else about this I can share. But I want to get to the point anyway. So basically, my actual understanding of this myself and the way I feel is, of course, I'll never know exactly what happened, all the ins and outs. We've just got what they've said there. But I see trans women as women, okay? Regardless, for me, it doesn't matter if you've had surgery or you've not had surgery. Trans women are women, okay? And this is what she said in her statement. She's not said, "Well, I'm pretending to be a woman." She doesn't. She's not identifying as male. She's not like saying, "Well, I identify as male, but I present female," because that then you could argue it might be a little bit different. But she says, "No, I see myself as a woman." So if someone said to me, "Are you, if I went on a dating app now and I had a choice between male and female on a dating app, which box do you think I would tick?" I would tick female because I'm female. I'm not going to tick male. I'm not going to go, "Well, I was assigned male at birth, so I better put male." So I just feel, and I strongly feel that she's not lied to him. She's not lied to him. I strongly feel that she is a woman. Now, I accept that he may feel that, okay, he didn't know she was trans. People say online, okay, there's a lot of bullshit online. They say, "Oh, how can't you tell? How can't you tell?" Doesn't matter about that. Doesn't matter what his what he saw in her or whatever. That doesn't matter. He slept with her. He chose to do that with her, regardless if he knew she was trans or not. I'm saying I'm taking his word for it that he didn't know she was trans. Okay. But you went in there because you wanted to be with a woman. You were attracted to who you were. So you did consent in that moment. If she'd never told you that she was trans, you would never know she was trans. So why does it matter? Why does it matter? You were attracted to that person and you participated in that action. If you sleep with someone who's say like I'll give an example, like some women don't want to sleep with gay men or bisexual men because they sleep with men. Okay. Does that mean that every bisexual man, when they sleep with women, cis women or whatever, or trans women, are they supposed to say to the partner, and this is like a hookup as well, a one night stand, they're supposed to say, "Oh, by the way, I sleep with men as well"? We wouldn't expect that. It's their privacy. It's up to them if they want to tell them. And then people say, yeah, but that's different because she's biologically male. And I'm saying, like, well, she doesn't even see herself as a man. So why and she's on a one night stand, not getting married. This isn't a future marriage. Now, she went and told him after. Maybe she wanted to have more of a relationship with him. That's why she told him later on. But what she wanted with him or what he wanted, they were on a one night stand. So now you're saying that every one night stand, a trans woman, and let's say this, okay, she hadn't had surgery, and she did say, "Oh, I'm on my period, so you didn't go down there." But at the same time, so you're saying even trans women that have had full surgery won't be able to tell on a one night stand, they need to tell? Now, I'm going to be honest with you, like any situation I've been in the past, I've told people because it's my choice. And this is what people got confused with when I said this before. I said, I tell. And they go, "Well, you yourself, you're saying that she shouldn't have to tell, but you do." And it's like, well, the reason I do is because that's my choice. And I'm saying I believe people should have choice. I believe people should, if she chose not to tell him, I'm saying, well, it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And then it's like, well, but you would. And it's just like, well, that's my choice. That's just my choice. I feel like that. Well, I guess because I would be concerned that he might go down there and, and anyway, I don't care anyway, mate. To me, it's here or there. But what the problem is with this, right, is originally, I'll just go back to another thing about this. Well, the problem with this is the original court cases this was based on were to do with they were lesbian women who were pretending to be men to sleep with straight women. Okay, so they were dressing up as men, pretending to be men, and then getting to have sexual contact with these women. And they were pretending. But where Sierra wasn't pretending, she lives as a woman, she presents as a woman, she's recognized as a woman. So she wasn't pretending. So the court cases this is based on is actually, I think it's 3 lesbians that did this before. And that's what it's based on. It's not based on any trans. This is the first trans person. But what this has done in the UK has now set a standard that if you ever sleep with someone now as a trans woman or a trans man, and you don't tell that person that you're trans before you have that contact, even on a one-night stand, you could be prosecuted. It's possible. People say, "Oh no, it's because she was deceptive. That's why." You know, if you're not deceptive, then you don't say you got a period or something like that. But it's like, so what happens if you've got a transgender woman who's had full surgery, can't tell at all? You're saying she has to tell anyway. So it's set a precedent that means that that's going to be that's how it is now in the future. And I'll just add another thing. People say as well, it's not safe if you don't tell. A lot of the crimes that have been committed against trans women in like America, there's a lot of ones that happen in America where trans women are murdered. And a lot of these trans women have told the men know they're trans. What happens is the men sleep with these trans women, and then after they feel guilty, they feel unhappy with what they've done. Because obviously they were horny, and then after they're like, I didn't really want to sleep with a trans woman. And then they murder them. And then they go to court and they say, "Oh, I did it because I was shocked that they were trans. I didn't realize." So don't tell me that it makes any difference. When you have the choice, you have your choice to tell people before, after, during, whenever you want. You have the choice. This has taken that choice away from trans women. And that is my core argument about this. If I choose to tell someone, that's my choice. If Sierra chooses not to tell someone, that is her choice. But now she doesn't have that choice. No trans woman has that choice. They have to by law, because you could be prosecuted, even if it might not be safe for them. Because you're saying to me, people out there are saying, "Oh no, it's not safe. You've got to tell them straight away." Really? You sure about that? Is there any time that's safe? We don't know. It's a gamble, and you have to. You've taken that away for people to make that decision. It might be safer for that trans woman if she's on a one-night stand. She meets a guy, and she just doesn't tell him. No, they never know. It's done. Okay, it might be safer for her, but she don't have that option anymore. So yeah, I think that's the majority of what I wanted to say about it. There was something else I was just thinking, but I've forgotten exactly what it was. But anyway, yeah. But let me know in the comments. I'm sure people will. Sorry, I didn't know where give a reaction. To react? You've been here. It's fine. It's fine. But thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Let me see how I pronounce your name. Machea? Will you let me know how you want me to address you? But thanks for being here. Thanks for being during the live show, and thanks for becoming a member today. It really means a lot. But if you need help, probably just best contact me via Discord. I know we're friends on Discord now, so yeah, just contact me on Discord, and I can let you know where to go and everything, how to do stuff. No, you're welcome. I mean, it means a lot that you're here. Thank you for being here tonight. It really does mean a lot. Thank you so much, and thank you for becoming a member. I've got lots of videos on the way, and we're going to do a video tonight. We're doing YouTube Watch tonight, so I'll probably do it in a few. I'm just going to just finish talking about this unfortunate thing that's happened to this trans woman in the UK, and then I'm going to move on and talk about the show tonight. So yeah, I'm not the only one who kind of covered this. Let me share. In fact, I'm going to my Discord now. So India Willoughby mentioned about this as well, and she shares the same opinion as myself, which why not? It makes sense because it's the right opinion. Let me find the page. So if anyone's curious about my Discord, because I've mentioned it a few times, some of you might not know anything about it. I do have a Discord, and this Discord basically is where you can go and chat, get loads of information about stuff, about the channel, about anything you want, really. I share loads of information here. So yeah, think about joining. There's a link below the video. So I have a little tweet section here in my Discord. So I try to tweet on here to let people know what's going on. But anyway, so India Willoughby, she said something about this. Let's see what she said. She said, it's barbaric for a woman who is trans to be jailed in Britain for having consensual sexual encounter with a cis man. Deception. The man was not forced into doing anything against his will. He only complained after being teased days later. I do not believe for 1 millisecond he didn't know the woman was trans. She will never be sent to a male UK prison as a sex offender. Well, she will. Oh, she will now be sent to a male. So she is going to be sent to him. This was the thing I was really worried about. So she is going to be sent because she's a sex offender. You see, classed as a sex offender. She will now be sent to a male UK prison as a sex offender, and in all likelihood, be raped or murdered. Would it be deception if a cis person didn't declare a trans person that they were cis? Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Would it be deception? So if a cis person sleeps with, so yeah, exactly. So do now cis people have to tell trans people? No. Why is it there are as or declarants on the trans person? Yeah, well, why? Yeah, why is the earnest? Sorry, the earnest on trans people? Because we're trans. Because that's just how it is, isn't it? Because we're trans. We're the ones that have to deal with this shit, basically. This is a bigotry law founded on the basis that trans people are frauds and tricksters. Yeah, that's another thing, because deception, trickster, when we're not, we're just being ourselves. It requires that trans people to put themselves in danger, and humiliating themselves, utterly revolting. Shabada Mahad, I can't pronounce the name. How would you feel if a white person having sexual encounters with an Asian was a criminal offense? Or how about a Jewish person? Hi, before we have sex, I have to tell you by law I am Jewish, in case you are revolted by that. What does that remind you of? Exactly. Totally agree with her. She's 100% right with that. So this is it. It was in the BBC. What are the comments? So we've got trans woman jailed for deceptional sexual assault. Trans woman jailed for deception, deceiving a man in having sexual encounters. Yeah, and I've seen, it's just awful, really. I mean, I might make a video on this still. I'm 50-50 because I mean I am speaking about it here. I might even just put this video out and share it with people. Am I disgusted by this? I'm absolutely disgusted by it. I am firmly against what's happened here. I feel it sets a precedent for all trans women here in the UK. Look, I class myself as a woman. I live my life as a woman, and if I'm in a situation where I was in a sexual encounter, I would address myself as female. And to say that I could go to jail for doing that, I think is absolutely disgusting. And I think the UK is going backwards. In fact, I don't recognize this country right now. I don't recognize this country for I used to think it was a country of principles, gave dignity to people, and it had human rights for people. And I truly am disgusted by this. That's how I feel. How I can let you know how to speak well my name. Well, probably the best way to do that. Well, look, I mean, give me 1 minute. Let me see. Let's use. I'm going to use my. I've got ChatGPT. I'm going to write your name in here. Okay, I'm going to write your name in here, and I'm going to see if they can say your name right. Wait. I gotta make it bigger because I can't see. I know. This is probably the best way, to be honest with you. Let me do it like this. Okay. And you can tell me if they've got it right. I'm just gonna do your first name, yeah? Wait, it's not it's not letting me do it. You know, because I know English people who are like, I'm useless. Okay, 1 minute. I'm gonna get your name now. Why is it TJ? What am I doing here? Okay. No, it's not his name. 1 minute. I'm gonna get it right. Okay. Oh, okay. Listen.
Got it. Marcia is a lovely Dutch name, pronounced roughly Marcha.
Marcha.
Did you mean you want to say March your hope today as a phrase, like a title?
Marcha. Is that correct? You let me know. Is it? I've got Marcha. That's what ChatGPT says. But don't trust ChatGPT because sometimes ChatGPT says names completely wrong. To be honest with you, I will always let them know as the flirting stage. If she gets up and walks away, is better than unlived. Well, look, Franny, I completely agree. This is, the funny thing was when I talked about this before, people were saying to me like I was trying to be deceptive as well, and all this jazz. And I don't even think she's being deceptive. I think she made her choice, and that should be at the end of it. But I'm the same, right? I choose to tell people, right? I always have. That's my personal way of doing it. To be honest with you, I don't go around dating like this anyway. So look, what am I doing? Friday night and Saturday night, I'm here doing a live stream. I'm not off to the club. My friend was at the club. I'm not at the club. Okay. And I didn't ask her if she told. She was with a guy last night. I didn't ask her if she told him, or I don't know. Who cares? Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to do your laws, whatever you want to do your laws, but people are just going to carry on living. But yeah, it's up to you. It's the individual. It's up to you. I mean, I don't know how it is in America, but in the UK now, it's against the law not to tell them. Okay. Haha. Okay. Yes. Yes, it's cute. So it is Marcha. I'll try and remember. Bear with me because I'm not the best with names, but I will try. Marcha. Well, thank you for being here, Marcha. And Esme. See, I remember names. I remember. Even says no hate. Esme. Nice to see you here tonight. Thank you for being here. I hope you're well. I haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, so I think that's all I have to say at the moment about that subject. But I'm absolutely disappointed about what's happened. I admit that I only got the information that's there. I don't know if there's some information that's missing out that I've not seen. But as far as I'm aware, he there was no trickery or anything. He consented to sleeping with us. So, hey. I've been listening. Oh, have you listened to my music? Have you heard my new songs? I played one at the beginning of the show. I just wanted to share some of it with you because I've made loads of music early on this year, but now I'm sharing it on Discord. So if you ever get a chance to check it out on Discord, please do. Because I enjoy sharing it. I like that. Some of the songs are really good. So yeah, I think we've covered everything about that. I've said what I had to say about it. I don't know if there's anything else I want to say about it. I mean, I know people disagree with what I'm thinking, but whatever. It's like if you don't think people should have free choice, then whatever you want, what kind of world do you want to live in? In the background of the live stream. Oh, the music. It's not on now, is it? Oh, okay. Oh, when I have the music on. I haven't got it on today. I haven't got any background music on at the moment. Sometimes I put it on. But I don't think there's any on now, is there? Because I don't listen anyway to that. So what was I going to say to you guys now? So yeah, well, we're nearly into an hour. It goes quick, doesn't it? Like an hour already. But I'm glad we talked about that anyway. I got that done and dusted and talked about it. Okay. Anyway, so I'm just going to, before we move on, I'm just going to let you all know. So if anybody wants to send, wants to donate any money tonight to the show, you can do. The best way to do it is do it via Buy Me a Coffee. There's a link. In fact, I'll just put it into the chat now. Anytime you want to, it's probably the best way to do it, which is here. And any donations we get, I will do spin the wheel, and we can watch videos together. So that's, I've just put it in the chat now, but it's also, I've also pinned it to the top. So that's the best way if you want to send a donation. Otherwise, you can do super chats. Now, I do have a goal. Every time I do a live stream, I have a goal, and I always just say £25. So if we get there, it just helps the show go. Really, it helps me to keep making these videos. So if you'd like to donate, please do. What else can I say about it? Yeah, if we get up to the £25, sometimes we do. Sometimes, if we get up there, I will share a secret with you. But if you're just watching this and you're not a channel member, why not become a member? It's £1 a month, just £1 a month to become a channel supporter at the base level now. It's just £1 a month. I will add that to the donation bar if anyone becomes a channel supporter during the show. And basically, you'll get access to every Sunday show, which we're doing tomorrow. It's a private show that only channel supporters can and community members can access. So the link is now, I've just put that in the chat as well. So even if you join that, I will add that to the donation bar as well. So if we got 25 new channel supporters join the show tonight, we'd hit the goal. So it's, you know, and to be honest with you, I'd love that. That'd be even better, because then I'd be able to share so much stuff with you over the next month. So, you know, that's a really good way of being part of the channel. But we'll see. We'll see if it happens. You know, but it's there if you guys want to do it. Right. Well, what we're going to do now, seeing it's coming up to about, it's 9:45 in the UK in the evening. I want to start doing YouTube Watch. So what is YouTube Watch? It's a new video program that I'm doing, a series. And tonight, if you're watching this, or if you're watching the rerun, you're going to get to see it for free. It's just part of the show. But in future, it is going to be privated. All these videos will be privated for the YouTube Watch. So if you want to become, if you want to watch YouTube Watch, you want to have access to the movie club, you have to become a community member. And a community member, you can join. There's 3 ways you can join. You can join via YouTube, you can join via Patreon, or you can use Buy Me a Coffee, and there's a membership there as well that you can join. So if you want to join that, if you like YouTube Watch, or you like to watch movies, join that. That's how you join. Okay. Again, if you join during the show, I'll add it to the donation bar. If you're watching this after the fact, you know, it's not live, yeah, still join up, because thumbs up. Yeah, well, do that as well. Give this video a like. Give this video a like and a thumbs up. That'll be cool as well. Thank you, Esme. But yeah, if you know, basically, I'm saying to everybody, look, if you are a channel supporter, thank you. It really means a lot to me. But if you'd like to move up to a community member, you get an extra 2 videos a week. We can spend more time together, which I think is cool. So just consider that if you want to do it. It's around £4 to £5 a month. Okay. It depends where you join. If you join on YouTube, it's £5. If you join on Buy Me a Coffee, it's £4, and if you join via Patreon, it's $5. So it's a different way you join, but it's up to you. There's links below this video, and you can join up any of those. So it's up to you. If you join, you're very welcome to be part of the community, which is what we're building here, building a community. So, and right now we have I think it's around 50 people right now. So that's why I'm very thankful for everybody who's joined. It's really making a difference. Okay, so let's start YouTube Watch. Let's go into that. So I think I've got the video ready anyway. So what are we going to be looking at in YouTube Watch tonight? Well, YouTube Watch is longer videos. We're covering longer videos. So we're probably going to be on this for the next hour, this video at least. So they're not short videos, they're a little bit longer. And the video I've picked out for tonight is, now let me just check the title. So the title of this video is How Berlin Became a Hub for Trans People. So how Berlin became a hub for trans people. Let me get my headphones on then. We can look at this video. Yeah, I think I'll write this. Okay, I'm going to share the screen with you so you can see it as well. Yes, grab the popcorn. Yeah, because we're gonna go into this deep. We're gonna learn some. We're gonna learn some because I want to learn about this as well. I want to learn about Berlin and its connection to the trans community. So make sure I can share the screen with you. Sorry. Ta-da. Okay, here we go. So let's watch this video and let's see what we can learn about Berlin. Okay, I think it's ready. But we don't want to start there. We want to start here.
The vibrant cosmopolitan city of Berlin attracts LGBTQI people from around the world, including trans people. The transgender community has become increasingly visible in recent years.
So I'll just start by saying I've never been to Berlin, never been to Germany, but I have heard about Berlin being a hub for trans and LGBTQ plus people. So I guess it's somewhere I should visit. I should definitely. So it's going to be interesting to see what they talk about in this video because if it's interesting, I might even decide to go there. I am going to be doing some blogging, hopefully, when the weather gets better next year, so probably next summer. So you never know. This might be a destination I choose to visit if it is what they say it is. Let's see then. What's this here? Oh, I was going to read that. Too quick. How Berlin became a hub for trans people. Okay, yeah, that's the title, isn't it?
Trans people have always existed, around the globe, in every culture. Berlin has played a key role in trans history for more than a century now. People come to the city from around the world so they can lead lives unconstrained by gender roles or conservative sexual norms.
So whenever I do any research on my channel, I always hear, when we hear about the things in the UK where everything's going backwards in the UK, like I just told you about that trans woman being arrested for being trans. And when I always get a lot of more positivity from other countries, and Germany is one of these countries that comes up that seems to be more forward thinking with trans rights. Now, I do hear things like they say a lot of time about right-leaning politicians getting more power there and things like that. I don't know. I mean, I haven't really gone into a deep dive to the political situation in Germany. But I do hear that the rights for trans people are better over there. So, I mean, if you're German or if you know more about Germany, please let me know, because you might be, in the comments and let me know what your opinion is on this and what the actual facts are. Because what is this thing with I hear that the right are getting a lot of with their political side, but I hear that trans people have more rights there. So you need to kind of, if you can help me out there, let me know.
According to the city authorities, Berlin is home to between 200,000 and 300,000 queer people, an estimated 8% of the population. It's not clear how many of them identify as trans or intersex. Many
You know, and this is a thing that keeps coming up as well. Like, so 8% are under the LGBTQ plus flag, should we say? And this thing about trans people, we don't know how many trans people exist. We just don't know, because I don't think every trans person, you know, like I've heard some people say on my channel, say, oh, well, in the UK, you know, because of the gender recognition certificate. And it's like, well, we know those people on the gender recognition certificate, but we don't know how many trans people there are. There's trans people who are still in the closet. There's trans people who just don't have a gender recognition certificate. They just live as themselves. Some trans people don't feel that they should have to go through all these, you know, get paperwork done and things like that. They feel, no, I should be accepted for who I am, which I agree with. So we don't know. We just don't know how many people are actually trans anyway. There could be a lot more than we actually know.
places cater for the LGBTQI community. Berlin's queer magazine Siegersäule has collated a map of relevant venues on its online portal, siegersäule.de. Advice centers, specialist doctors, hundreds of party locations and cafes, as well as cultural resources such as museums and bookshops. We're taking
They seem to have, just by looking, it seems to be a lot of places for trans people and LGBTQ plus people to go in Berlin, by the looks of it. So it seems quite an interesting place to visit, actually.
you on a 4-chapter journey through Berlin's queer past and present, one that explores
1. Why trans asterisk people from around the globe come to Berlin today. 2. How a scientific pioneer challenged prevailing sexual norms more than a century ago. 3. How Berlin achieved cult status for its queer scene in the 1970s. And 4. What life is like for trans people in Berlin today and what problems they encounter.
So we're going to cover all these different topics in this video. So, okay. Franny, Berlin was an LGBTQ plus haven way back since before the Nazis. Yeah, I have heard. Yeah, it's been a long history. I think we're going to learn about that in this video today. So it's going to be interesting to see what they say. So let's get back into the video and see about each topic in the video.
But what does being trans mean? Well, first off, trans people are part of the queer community. Queer is a collective term for people whose gender identity and/or sexual orientation does not correspond to the heterosexual norm.
Okay, so that's for queer people. Okay. Then we've got trans. We're going to tell that anyway.
Trans asterisk is an umbrella term for people whose gender identity differs from the sex that they were assigned at birth.
Okay, well, I mean, I think most of you viewing this probably know this, but if you don't, yeah, of course, we have the LGBTQ plus, you know, umbrella, and you've got and the reality is, like, you know, gay people, it's more to do with their sexual orientation, who they are attracted to, and being trans is your identity, is how you identify. But a lot of trans people also are under the other, you know, either the L or the G or even the B, and other letters in the LGBTQ plus, because, you know, we have gay trans people, we have, you know, lesbian, we have bisexual, so we're very connected with the umbrella anyway.
Within there is a huge range. There are some people who identify themselves as trans man or trans woman, and then we call this, they fit into gender binary. And some people don't identify with male or female gender, and they define themselves, for example, as non-binary.
Chapter 1. So why do trans asterisk people from all around the globe flock to Berlin?
we asked two young members of the trans community who have moved to the German capital. Felicia Roleczka, a tour guide in Berlin's Gay Museum, which focuses on LGBTQI themes and culture. And Holden Madagame, an opera singer from the US who has put down roots in Berlin.
Im Gegenteil, man
So we'll see now why they moved there. So this is interesting. So we have people actually coming to stay and live in Berlin from other countries who are trans.
kommt von Tisch, man ist beschwert. Was kommt jetzt? Sagt man sich.
My name is Holden Madagame, and I moved to Germany in 2013 because Germany has about a third of the world's opera, and I'm transgender. I felt comfortable sort of realizing myself as a trans person in Berlin.
Hi, my name is Felicia. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a transgender activist and tour guide in Berlin. I came out in 2016, so 6 years ago, and coming out was a very mixed experience. Had very positive experiences here in Berlin, in the communities and spaces I was moving in, the area I was studying, and the friends I had, the social circles I had. Most of that was very positive.
So yeah, I've got both of them. Why they came to live here in Berlin. They're both trans. But of course, I mean, you know, you move. I mean, I like things that are happening here in the UK. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm listening to what they're saying because I'm thinking like things are changing here. If there's countries that have a more relaxed and positive approach to trans people, you know, I wouldn't put it out of my ideas that I wouldn't go somewhere else if it carried on like this. Though I know I shouldn't. I should fight. I should fight in my country because I love England. But it's obviously if they make it difficult for me to be able to live here, what am I supposed to do? But anyway, let's see what else they've got to say.
Felicia began transitioning in 2015 at the age of 20. She came to Berlin because she wanted to live in a city where she could come out as trans. Holden came to Berlin from the United States for work, but it wasn't just a career move. There were also some highly personal reasons for the relocation.
I just stop here as well. Whenever you choose to go live in another country, I mean, like, I can see, like, before I would probably say being trans for me, because England was very positive a few years ago. I felt, well, you know, a few years ago, back in, I don't know, 2019, 2020, I guess before we had the epidemic, you know, COVID and everything. I feel like it was a more positive place to live. But ever since, you know, recent times, it's become more negative to live here. And, you know, now I'm starting to think more things about my future as a trans woman living in a country. I can't live in a country that denies me access to the spaces that I identify as, because, you know, if I want to go swim, where do I go swimming? I use the female toilets, but, you know, what happens if I find that, you know, like, yeah, if you get confronted in the female toilets, you basically have to leave. And there's even people saying that they would violently attack you for being in that space. So it's not a welcoming place, the UK at the moment. You know, if it carries on this way, it's going to be very dangerous to live here.
I think what attracts trans and queer people internationally to come to Berlin is partially that there's a big community here already, and everybody sort of knows that Berlin is like the trans queer city. Like, it has that international reputation for it already. And I think also because, I don't want to call it a utopia, but because it's not necessarily a utopia, but it's like Berlin is a really great place to be trans and queer. It feels really, really safe, and I think a lot of the world is not safe. And so I think a lot of trans people come here because they know basically that they're going to be safe. And if they come from really oppressive countries or oppressive places, it's going to be so much better here.
So, I mean, he used the word utopia, and like I said, I can't say it's a utopia, but it is kind of like a utopia. That's an interesting thing to say, to be honest with you. I mean, of course, if you're in countries like, we did a video yesterday, we watched a video about Russian transgender people. and you know, it looks absolutely terrifying living there as a trans person. So I definitely think that if a Russian trans person could move to Germany, it might be a lot. Well, it would be like a utopia for them. Can you imagine the difference between Russia and what we're seeing here in Berlin? In the, you know, I've just got to compare because I am in Britain, I am in the UK. For me, the difference at the moment, I mean, everybody I meet on the streets, people I meet in my day-to-day life are really positive people. I don't meet people on the streets and they're nasty to me or anything like that. The only nastiness I ever see is online, and they could be from anywhere. They could be from Russia for all I know. So I don't really feel like day-to-day life in England is unsafe and there's nasty people. I don't believe that. So I guess, you know, I'm not living in Russia, but at the same time, you know, to have a place that's forward thinking, that is very attractive. I must admit, very attractive for a trans person, for me anyway. Marja, I have learned that 1% are registered as trans in the Netherlands. Yes, I have heard that the Netherlands has a more positive approach towards transgender people. Obviously, you can let me know what your feelings about that, if that's true or not. Because obviously, I don't live there, so I can only say what I've read. I feel safe in the Netherlands. Haven't had any traumatic experiences yet. Right. Well, I've heard that there's, you know, I think it's the Netherlands and there's some other places, your side of Europe, your part of Europe there, where it's more positive. But correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've heard. You know, all I can say is, because I can speak obviously for the UK, I've definitely noticed that the laws in the UK are going backwards for trans people. Before, it was more positive. Like, it was kind of like known that trans women and trans men used the facilities that they identified with. So it was quite normal for us to use, you know, a trans woman to use the women's toilets, trans man using the man's toilets. If you went swimming, you went to the gym, you would just use the facilities that you were identified with, and no one seemed to be a problem. There never seemed to be a problem. But ever since the High Court ruling, it seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. And what seems to be happening is that we have Labour in charge right now. It's supposed to be a more left-leaning party. It's supposed to be more pro-LGBTQ+. They are basically just right now seem to be looking towards the right-wing parties like Reform, which you might have heard of, and trying to copy them. And that's really weird because Reform are very far right, and so to copy their politics seems very strange because they're supposed to be a left-leaning party. So I don't know. It's a weird thing to see right now. And I mean, people might say, you know, if you say why do I say that Reform is a far right party? Well, on trans rights, they believe that the pronouns for trans people should be abolished. They don't think that I should be classed as, people should say Mr. me. They think I should be addressed as sir. They feel that I should have no access to the female facilities at all, so I have to use men's facilities. That's basically, they want me to use the men's toilets. So you know what I mean? This they want me to go to the men's. They want to be addressed as male. They don't want any trans education in schools. So you tell me if that's far right or not, because I think that's far right. Because I'm a British citizen. I pay tax in this country, and the way I feel about, I think we should have trans education. I feel that I should have the rights to be accepted in the places I am. The argument against me not using the women is apparently I'm a threat to women. Don't know how that is. I've never been a threat to women. So even the arguments against why I shouldn't have access to these facilities is just bullshit. But anyway, this is the world we're living in anyway right now. Now let's carry on watching the video a little bit and see what else.
I think that's a major part of it.
There are huge opportunities for trans people here. There is a chance for community just in places like this, as we are right now, or in other community spaces all across the city. Things trans people in the rest of Germany often don't have, or don't have to that degree, which is the reason why many trans people move to Berlin in order to live their life.
Berlin first became a queer.
So that's interesting to hear then. So basically, You know, there are a lot of trans people moving there, and you have that kind of freedom to be yourself. You can be open and live your life. So very positive at the moment. What the message is for Berlin.
Haven over a century ago, that long history has helped give today's city its colorful and inclusive reputation. But the terms we use now to describe queer people are comparatively new.
The term transgender didn't really come into existence until the middle of the 20th century.
So yeah, now I do know a little bit about the history, and I do know that there was I think they're going to talk about it now. I can't remember the gentleman's name who had the they basically created the first kind of like how was it, information about trans and queer people here in Berlin. So I think we're going to talk about all this in a bit. But yeah, I know a lot of the terms that we use today to describe trans people and stuff, they're quite new. They're quite new, the terms.
This is not to say that people weren't experiencing discomfort in their assigned gender or dysphoria or feeling a desire to express gender more broadly or differently than society would have wanted or expected.
Chapter 2, how a pioneer challenged sexual norms.
So I think this is what we're going to be talking about now. This is the history side. So this is going to be quite interesting to hear.
More than 100 years ago.
Berlin became internationally famous in the early 20th century for its hedonistic, decadent nightlife. But it was also where the first groundbreaking research on sexuality and gender identity was conducted, and the first sex reassignment surgery. Magnus Hirschfeld was...
Okay, Magnus Hirschfeld. So I did make a video about a month or so ago, which is the history of transgender people, and it was about transgender people. And I remember I covered this man. So he was like the first kind of like, he did more research for trans people and for LGBTQ plus people. I'm sure they're going to tell us more about it now.
the driving force. He was a pioneer of sexology and one of the first people to scientifically investigate sexual and gender identities. In 1919, he set up the Institute for Sexual Science in Berlin. He coined the now outdated term transvestite for people who describe themselves as trans asterisk today.
Yeah, so they use the word transvestite, but I know in modern day term that isn't acceptable. But at that time, it was more for, I guess, what we use now as like transgender. And he was the first one to kind of like create this information. As you can see, it was the year 1919 or something like that. So this is before the wars, before the world wars and stuff, especially the Nazis. And so we know now that you know, after obviously this is the problem, because this time period, it's going to get a lot worse in the next few years, unfortunately, in Germany. Let me see. I got some comments. You can absolutely, you are absolutely right. You have the right to access to female locations. I have over access as a woman, or overall access as a woman, but it becomes less because of Trump. So you're saying to me that the Trump politics in America are affecting the Netherlands as well? That there's people in your country as well that are starting to talk the same way as what we're hearing in America, Marja? Because that's what we're seeing in England. I mean, England basically just copies America. Whatever happens in America, England normally copies it. And I would say the Reform Party are definitely just basically the same politics as Trump is in America. Oh, hello, Janice. Nice to see you here tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're watching. This is YouTube Watch tonight. You're actually getting to see something. This normally is only available to community members, but you can watch some of the video. Well, watch the video with us tonight as just part of being on the channel as a subscriber. Yes, it does. Oh, okay. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame, because I've heard that this is the problem. All these kind of more safe, more positive countries are getting affected because of Trump's politics, basically, and that's really sad to hear. It shows you how important it is that if America, they can get a better, hopefully after this, the next election. But let's see what happens. I don't know. I mean, I hope Americans can get a a different leader in charge of them. I mean, hopefully a Democrat, to be honest with you. I hope things will change, but I don't know.
He actually researched the entire spectrum of gender identity and sexuality. He assisted people in his practice as a doctor to come to terms. He gave people a vocabulary about what they were experiencing, and he offered actual assistance in the case of, for example, of trans men and women. He helped them with early gender confirmation surgery, with hormone therapy, with plastic surgery, with practical measures like hair removal. So
you imagine this is like what, back in 2000, that's not 2000, 1990, over 100 years ago, over 100 years ago that they were doing this. And there's people now claiming that trans people, like making out that we're like a new thing. I've even people saying that, oh yeah, trans people exist because the internet. Absolutely crazy. 100 years ago, and all this was happening. They were talking about gender confirmation surgery, hormones, laser hair removal, and plastic surgery for trans people. So it just shows you, you know, our history as trans people, how long and what we've been going through for such a long period of time. And it's so disgusting that we live in a world right now where there's idiots talking about that we don't exist, that trans children don't exist, and things like that, when it's clear evidence that we have existed throughout history.
he really did make a difference in a lot of people's lives.
James Conway is the translator of Berlin's Third Sex. Written by Magnus Hirschfeld, it was published at the start of the 20th century and was one of the first works about Berlin's queer subculture.
Okay, so there's a book called Berlin's Third Sex. That's interesting. I wonder if that's available on Amazon or something. Let me see. I'm going to have a look. Because that would be interesting. That I'm just gonna Google it 1 minute. Well, I'm going on. Maybe I just can I share this one? I can share this one with you. I don't think it's. Can you see that? No, you can't see it. I don't know why you can't see it. I just shared the screen. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah. So have they got the book? Let me see if they got the book on here. Berlin's Third Sex. I believe this is it here. Magnus Hirschfeld and James Conway. Okay. This is the Third Sex Katoi, Thailand. Yeah. So this is it here. This is the book. So it is available. I don't know. Has anybody out there read it? It'd be interesting. I might decide to purchase it because I mean I'm interested in I'm interested in stuff like that. Interesting. Let me see. I got a few comments. Let me just do some comments here. Esme, trans people are visible, but it's hard. Well, it is, but I mean, like for myself, okay, was it hard for me at first? Yes, it was hard for me to come out and be visible at first, but it isn't hard for me now. I mean, I live full time. I'm here, so I think it's people, trans people like myself, who are in a situation where we're already out, we're already visible, that we stay visible and out. I'm never going to hide away, be myself. I don't mean that all trans people have to do that, but what I'm saying is I'm in a situation where I can be. So it might be harder for some. I understand that, but like for myself, there's, and it does get easier once you you just carry on with your transition. It does get easier. I promise you. I don't know the history now. Okay. Well, let's see what happens. Right, let me share this again with you. So let's watch a bit more of this. So this book is available. I kind of like the look of this book. It looks a bit more smart, this book. But anyway.
Hirschfeld was himself part of this community and wrote about venues like the queer nightclub and cabaret El Dorado. It was later targeted by the Nazis. Before that, Berlin was a place of freedom and experimentation.
In the Weimar.
Yeah, it sounds like before Nazis came along, Berlin was quite a free, open society by the looks of it. But then obviously, and this is why we are like we are today, why we're dealing with these things. When people refer, like here in the UK, when we talk about reform getting power, I mean, do I feel this could happen with them? Well, no, I don't think it could go this bad. I mean, surely not. But we have to learn from the lessons of the past. And having right-wing, far-right parties take power, there is a danger of these things repeating. And Reform have already made clear in the UK that they don't want to accept trans people and stuff, and they're not a fan of LGBTQ plus rights. Let's be fair. So, you know, these things could occur again, in a sense, trying to erase those people, because what Hirschfeld was doing was very important and still is very important. Could you imagine if this never happened? What could have happened? We might have even had more by now. Trans people might have been more accepted throughout the world than they are now if these things hadn't happened. Raquel, okay. Perhaps J.K. Rowling would like a copy of the book. Oh, tell me about it. Well, I mean, the damage she does to trans people is disgusting. I've always said this about her, and this is one of the things. I mean, there's many problems with her. She's in such a certain position where she doesn't understand her responsibility. I know she has her opinions and she wants to put them out on what is it, on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. But have some responsibility. Every time she targets trans people on there, which she does, I've seen her retweet trans people who've got maybe like 100 followers or something like that. Even myself, I mean, I have a very small follower account on X or anything. If she was to retweet or attack me, that damage to me would be really serious, would be a really big problem. But she has millions of followers. So when she says something, all those million of followers just nod their head and agree anyway. They never question her. And she attacks trans people all the time. So she actually hurts people really badly. And then on top of that, she claims she's all for women, but if you look at her tweets, you look at what she says, it's very much she doesn't like trans people. And anyway, let's be honest with you. What is she going to be famous for? Do you think she's going to be famous for Harry Potter? Or do you think she's going to be famous for being a transphobe? Because I think most of us would agree that she's becoming more famous for being a transphobe and being obsessed with tweeting, which I think is absolutely, we should also say, what kind of an author, a writer, spends the time tweeting a few letters, okay? That's not an author. An author writes books, writes masterpieces. Okay, she wrote Harry Potter, right? But what's she done since then? What's she done that is like groundbreaking? Has she wrote something more like a thesis or something more, intellectual? I've not seen it because she doesn't do that. She just tweets. I mean, imagine that, being a billionaire sitting around on your computer all day just typing tweets. What kind of life is that? I don't understand. Her and Elon Musk both got some mental problem. Guess what? Herman's going was a cross-dresser. Well, that happens a lot as well. We have a lot in history. We have a lot of people that are like anti-gay. It turns out they have gay relationships. It's happening now. I see people on what is it in America a lot of time. These Congress people are very anti-LGBTQ plus, and then they end up getting done for having they've had relationships with gay men, or been caught in gay bars, or been sending pictures to young men and stuff like that. It's always happening. But there's some mental problem with that. It's people who deny who they are. There's a reason they do it. It's they attack the thing that they actually love. They attack it.
Era, you have Lily Elbe, who is known to us through the book and the film The Danish Girl.
The movie The Danish Girl from the year 2015 retells the story of Lily Elbe. The Danish trans person and artist was a media sensation. She was one of the first intersex people to undergo gender reassignment surgery in 1930. She came to Germany for the procedure.
So I've done a video on Lily Elbe as well, and I've talked about the Danish Girl film as well on my channel. So if you haven't seen any of these films, check out my videos on my channel. I've covered a lot of this before. My feeling about the Danish Girl as a film, I'm going to say that I think it misinterpreted her. I didn't think it was correct how they told the story. They went more for some sensational version of the story, and they kind of missed out a lot of the facts for her. So if you walk, because you will walk away, if you watch the film, you might feel like, whoa, she seems a bit selfish in the film, and the true story is not that. It wasn't like that. And I will say that yes, in my video on her as well. So yeah, check those out. They're in my they're on my channel.
Lily Elbe came from Denmark and consulted with Magnus Hirschfeld, and he guided her through gender confirmation surgery.
Magnus Hirschfeld wasn't just a doctor and a scientist. He was an activist campaigning for the rights of queer people. This campaign included a revolutionary regulation in Berlin from the year 1909, co-drafted by Hirschfeld. It granted trans people the right to dress as they pleased in public and in the workplace.
So yeah, that's another key thing, because before, and in a lot of the world, it was illegal to actually, if you were to dress as the sex that you weren't assigned at birth. So if you were transgender, you couldn't dress as in female clothing, and you could be arrested for that. So this is amazing. 100 years ago, they actually, managed to get this in Berlin, so you could actually dress as your gender identity. So that's amazing. Whereas most of the world, it was still illegal. I think in the UK, it was illegal to pretty recently. Maybe like 50 years ago or something. I guess probably the 70s or something like that, before they actually overturned that law.
They no longer needed to fear arrest for public order offenses.
Hirschfeld hat mit dem Polizeipräsidenten einen Deal ausgehandelt, der so
Hirschfeld negotiated a deal with the police chief, which looked like this. Hirschfeld would issue a medical certificate and a diagnosis which read transvestite. With this diagnosis, the trans person would go to the police headquarters and get a photo ID stating that they are transvestite.
Diese Person ist ein Transvestit. Ein Passbild dazu und ein
So, yes, because Hirschfeld was a doctor, and so he could say, yeah, basically give you a gender. It's like a gender confirmation. Sorry, gender confirmation. It's like a gender certificate here in the UK that we have, gender recognition certificate we have in the UK. He's basically created something like that. Though in the UK we don't at the moment. Hopefully, if nothing changes, there's no law against you dressing how you wish. You have your right to dress if you want to dress. Even if you see yourself as a man, you can wear women's clothes if you prefer. So we have no law against that. But to be recognised in the UK as like for myself, to be recognised as a woman, I need a gender recognition certificate, or otherwise I will have male on my passport. However, I don't need it for my. Sorry, I will have male on my birth certificate. However, I don't need it for my passport and my driver's license. I can just have female written on that right at the moment. But I think when the next election happens, if we end up voting more right, if it ends up going towards reform, they will abolish that. And I'm worried that they might even abolish. So they might abolish it so that trans people who haven't got a recognition certificate won't be able to have female or male on their passports and documents. So that's why I worry about it, because that's what they've done in America. So they might try to do that here in the UK as well. Everyone has to learn who they really are, and get out of it. Not many people do that. Yeah, I mean, we all have to. We do. We have to learn who we are. We have to be who we are. We should be free to be who we are. it all comes down to education. A lot of people they can't be open about who they are because maybe because they've been brought up in families that feel that being trans or gay is not acceptable, and so it's very hard for them to change that. You know, if you bring a child up that way, I was brought up in a very free thinking family, so we never saw gender identity, sexuality as a thing that there should be boundaries around it. You can be, if you feel this way, you should be allowed to be who you are. I think it's absolutely wrong that there is people out there who say that people shouldn't be choice to be who they want to be. We all live on this world and we should all live in peace and we should be allowed to be who we are. And I think diversity is a celebration, not a negative thing. But unfortunately, there is a growing part of society who feel that we should be rigid and we should only allow what we call, like, maybe historically see gender as just two genders, and that we should that, you know, even people don't really like same-sex marriage and things like that. But these people, they don't understand that actually that diversity is a strength. You can, and it's good for them as well, because they have freedom. If they want to live a certain way, that's their choice. But everyone should have the freedom to live the way that they want to live.
The document would be stamped by the police chief. If this trans person were walking down the street and the police stopped them, they could show their transvestite ID, and the police would refrain from arresting and charging them. In other words, this was a way of evading legal persecution, and that was an important milestone set in 1909 on Hirschfeld's initiative.
So, I mean, I guess in today's world, we probably would feel, I mean, I wouldn't be happy that I have to have a card that says I'm trans so I don't get arrested. But you could see back then, 100 years ago, how important that would be and how that would be a good thing for them. So it is a good thing at that time. You know, luckily we have moved on from that we've got a lot further than that. But I guess at that time, that was an important thing that we did need.
1909 sozusagen gesetzt wurde auf Hirschfelds Initiative.
Hirschfeld was ahead of his time, but not everyone agreed with his ambitious reforms. As far as the Nazis were concerned, he embodied everything they despised about the un-German Weimar Republic. When they seized power in 1933, the Nazis ransacked the research library at Hirschfeld's Institute. It was one of the first targets of the Nazi book-burning program.
I remember last year, I think it was, that J.K. Rowling said that this never existed. She actually claimed that this never happened, that trans people, that this never happened, that the Nazis didn't destroy all this. But I think you can kind of see, we've got German officers here, we've got Hirschfeld's picture here. I think it's pretty clear it did happen. And just like many other, minorities and communities in Nazi time who were targeted, we were one of the groups, the trans people were one of the groups that were targeted. They did not accept being transgender in Germany at that time. And so we too, our community was attacked then. And so it's really important that, you know, we know these things in history, we know what's happened before, and we can't allow this to happen again. And when we see trans people standing up against all this hatred, against these people that say we don't exist and stuff, you can understand why we do this, because it isn't the first time we've been attacked. It showed that we were 100 years ago, we were starting to be accepted in society, especially in Germany. They were making progress for trans people, and we were forced back into the darkness then. It's taken us nearly another 100 years to get to this point where we are now in a lot of other countries. Some countries still were illegal to exist. But you can see why we can never go back to this. We can never allow this to happen. Because if we allow it, this is what they will do to us. They will try to erase us, and that's what they're trying to do now. So this is why this is so important.
Bei dieser Bücherverbrennung wurde die Büste von Magnus Hirschfeld
At this book burning, the bust of Magnus Hirschfeld was carried over the heads of the Nazis as they marched toward the bonfire. Seizing these trophies from the Institute was a way of showing that the spirit of the Weimar era must be extinguished by symbolically casting the bust and the entire contents of the library into the flames.
Imagine all the books there and the information that Hirschfeld had actually gathered and gained for things that were very positive for trans people and gay people, LGBTQ plus people, and it was just burned by the Nazis. When people try to take books out of libraries now, we hear that there's trans books in libraries. You know, a lot of people say we don't want this education on children. Recently on Netflix, there was some trans cartoon, and Elon Musk has told his followers on X to get rid of, to try and get Netflix shut down. Don't subscribe to them. What this is doing is very similar to this type of thing. He's trying to stop education and knowledge about a community. So you should watch this and you should realize how serious this is. This is just the same thing. Burning books or trying to erase information is wrong. You might not agree. No one says you have to agree, because that's the thing about life. Even though I think people should agree, you don't have to agree. But when you try to destroy or try to erase things that exist, that is wrong. So as a trans person, of course, I want people to know about this. But the thing is, like, do I agree that Netflix has trans cartoons? Yes, of course I agree, because I think that trans children and cisgender people need to know about transgender people. And it's better if they start when they're young, so they're not afraid of who trans people are when they're older. But by trying to erase it, trying to stop Netflix from showing it, is the same as doing this. It's exactly the same, because you're trying to erase a community of a minority of people. But as we know, they will fail. They cannot erase us. It's impossible.
Gesamte Schriftgut in das Feuer geworfen wird.
It was almost a pagan ritual to cleanse Germany of quote-unquote unclean tendencies.
Let me just, I don't know if they've got text on here. No, it's not this, sorry. I wanted to see if it's actually got, it's got English subtitles. I will put on, because I know there's some viewers here who English isn't their first language. So I just want to put that on. I should have put that on at the beginning. I'm sorry I didn't put it on earlier. I'll try to make sure I do that in future. I incredibly have never taken this information, but not about transgender. So, I mean, Marja, have you ever heard of this before? About the Magnus Hirschfeld? And did you know about what the Nazis did about the book burnings and things like that? I mean, or is anyone else knew about this? I mean, I first kind of came across this because I heard that J.K. Rowling was saying it didn't happen. But, why would you believe anything she says anyway? Absolute idiot. And then when I looked into it and I saw all this, I was shocked about, kind of proud about what Hirschfeld did. Very proud about that, and kind of think, wow, there was actually people looking out for us 100 years ago. But just how sad it is, and look at what's happening today in the modern world, how people are trying to erase trans people in this day and age. It's quite sad. But you have to learn history to try and stop repeating history. You've got to stop repeating history, and that's what's happening in our modern world now. What's happening in parts of America, what's happening in the UK is like repeating history. And I hope that the Netherlands, I hope that Germany, I hope other countries don't follow that. We should be trying to fight to let countries like Russia and Saudi Arabia and places like that, China, we should be fighting for those trans people and gay people in those countries so that they can have a better future. That's what we should be fighting for right now, not trying to turn the clock back in Western countries. We shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, let's watch some more of this.
Magnus Hirschfeld was on an international lecture tour when the Nazis came to power and laid his institute to waste. He never went back to Germany. After all, he knew that as a gay Jewish social democrat, he would never be safe in the Third Reich.
Okay, so he was gay and Jewish. Yeah, I don't think you can live in a Nazi with the Nazis. That's definitely not going to be able to stay there. I wonder what happened to him. I never really I don't know what happened. I wonder if they're going to tell us what actually happened to him after. So he never went back. And just how sad that is, you know, you've got someone there who obviously was making a big difference for people 100 years ago. This is definitely somebody who's very important to trans and queer history. So yeah, it's really sad to hear this.
Magnus Hirschfeld died a broken man. He died on his birthday. I don't know if there's any significance to that, but he died having seen his life's work literally going up in flames.
Hirschfeld's reformist influence was lost during the Nazi dictatorship.
Well, you know, it's quite sad to hear this. And obviously, you know, to think that he left this world thinking that his legacy and what he did was gone, because obviously they burned the books, they burned a lot of information. But I'll say here now, as myself, as a trans woman, I recognize him. I recognize what he did for us. And even though a lot of that information was burned, he has helped to create a lot of better things for trans people. So he is recognized for that, whatever. But it's just very sad to think that he ended his life like that, and you know, this had to happen. Let me just see some comments. This is new information for me. A Jewish prosecution, yes, that I know, but transgender, no, I didn't. Yeah, a lot of people, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people don't know about this. A lot of people, when J.K. Rowling tweeted about it, I mean, I could probably find the tweet. When J.K. Rowling tweeted about it, there was people who kind of came up against her, but a lot of people didn't know about it. People still don't. A lot of people think transgender people only existed recently. Let me see. See if I can find it. It'll be online somewhere, but yeah, I might be able to find it. But if I can find the image for you, and then you can see the tweet itself. Can't be that one. She's done so many tweets, so difficult to find. No, just all the nasty tweets. Where's the one? Because she basically just says it in this. That's it there, but that's not the tweet. Where's the tweet? I'm just looking for it now, because if I can find it. God, she just writes so many. The thing is, whenever I look for her stuff, it's just all negative. You know, I think you can see what I'm looking at now, yeah? Let me see. Yeah, you can see it. It's just loads of tweets, but we've got like this here, but does that? That's not showing the tweet. Is it here? No, I can't see. It's too small for me. Well, there is a tweet somewhere. But is this it here? No. Just got these. This is all what she talked about, but I haven't got anything with the actual tweet. I'll have a look for it later on if I can't find it. Is this it? Is this true what they say you can lead? No. She's just done too many. This is the thing. You can't just get it from her, because she's just, all she does is write tweets about let me see if this shows anything. This is talking about it. Yes, J.K. Rowling, the Nazi prosecute trans people, burn books. Yeah. So they got a tweet here. They actually got a tweet on here. That's the thing. And they're talking about it. They don't show a tweet. I guess she deleted it. I guess it was here. Would have probably been here. But you know, normally they have the picture somewhere online. Oh, so you didn't see that. I was looking on the page then, but I couldn't. Let me have a look after. I'll have a look for it later on. Can't find it at the moment, but I will. I'll find the tweet. I will find the tweet for you later on. History seems to be repeating. I agree. Yes, it is repeating. It is repeating. Haven't been born 3 years after. I've been born 3 years after the end of the World War II. The effects of the events that happened were well known, but over the years things got blurred. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't know about the transgender thing until recently. I didn't know. That's quite a new one for me. But very sad. And on his birthday, yes. Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? American teenagers burn all their Beatles records after John Lennon said the Beatles were more popular than Jesus, stirred up by right-wing activists, so it can happen anytime. Well, yeah. I mean, what is it like? I guess they all went and bought more Beatles records once they'd burned them, you know what I mean? They never ran out of, never not popular. But yeah, I do know. I mean, I know that the Beatles record, they burned the Beatles records. They like to burn things, don't they? These right-wing activists and stuff. They love to burn stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing burning the Beatles records, but I mean, at least still have the Beatles records. But I mean, to burn those books about trans people in Germany, that's there'll be information there that can never be. Well, we can never get back. It was his life's work, wasn't it? Anyway, let's watch a bit more of it. I'll try and find that tweet after the video, I think, because it'd be worth to see that tweet after this. But we all know what J.K. Rowling's like anyway.
Berlin's free spirit disappeared for decades, and with it, the freedoms that queer people had fought so hard to gain. But then came the 1960s and 70s.
Chapter 3: How Berlin became a cult location for the queer community in the 70s.
So yeah, I mean, I did a video not so long ago about called Les Amis de Place Blanche, which was in Paris, and that was about a group of trans women that lived in the Place Blanche, but near like Montmartre in Paris. And that was. I mean, you check that video out if you haven't checked that video out. It's on my channel because I do some history videos, and that was back in the late 50s, early 60s. And then it was kind of like to see trans women just living their lives in that part of Paris at that time was quite amazing for me. But it looks like that was how it was. It was like we had this after the war. We had this kind of, well, during the war and then after the war, kind of trans people kind of going completely kind of into the darkness, really, for that time period. And then we all kind of started to emerge again after like the 50s and stuff.
When Berlin was still divided by a wall, there were places in both parts of the city where transgender and queer people could gather and express themselves.
I always forget, that there was a wall. There was the wall between West and East Germany. I always forget about it. I always think about, how Germany is now and stuff, and I forget. Yeah, it was actually split in half, wasn't it? Not so long ago, really.
It in different ways.
West Berlin really was a safe haven back then, that's true. You could live here without being bothered. We didn't really have any rights, but we could get everything we needed.
Yeah, because it was split in half, and half of it was ruled by the Russian side. And we see how Russia is now. And to think like, yeah, Germany as a whole now is more, I presume more liberal. And to think that there was this, because obviously, the Russians, they don't accept gay or trans people at all.
There was a trans community, which meant we could communicate with each other. There were already basic networks in place, which is important because you need information, and that existed in West Berlin. The trans community was small, but it existed, and you didn't have to feel that you were just on your own.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why information is so important. I mean, luckily, we do have the internet now. I know there's many of you now watching this from different countries from all over the world, and this is the the thing that the internet has given us is given this way so we can communicate. So even if we are in countries that are trying to erase us, this is why I don't believe they can ever erase us again, because even countries like maybe not North Korea, but countries like, I mean, even like China, you can get you can still you can get access to foreign media, though it is very difficult, but they can, and even in Russia. So even if our videos and our it's important to say things on social media and stuff, because it can have a positive effect in countries where they maybe don't have access to some of these things. I had someone on this channel once contact me from where were they from now? They were not India, but near India. I forgot what it's called now. It's just it begins with B, and I've completely blanked it out of my mind. But they were in a country that's less accepting of trans people, and they were talking to me, and I think that's why it's important to do these videos, because there is people from countries that maybe they can't get information and can't have access to talk to other trans people. So I think that's why it's so important that we do keep speaking and visible online.
Und man musste nicht das Gefühl haben, hier alleine zu sein.
Nora Eckert has written a book about her life story.
Also als ich Ende 73 nach
When I
West-Berlin
came to
kam,
West Berlin in 1973, it was the first place I had ever heard of trans people. I learned there were people who were trans, and that was very important for me because I saw that it was possible, that these people actually did exist.
I had to see her book, see if there's an English translated version of her book. Well, anyway, I'll check it out after. I'll check it later on, but I will check it out actually, because I think books are important. It's interesting to get other people's perspective on how their life was, and I'm definitely interested in these time periods. I think it's interesting to see what many trans people had to go through before the time that we're in now. I think it's interesting to know about them.
There was a nightly drag show, which was also something really special. But for me, it was also an opportunity to go and see trans people. Not everyone on stage was trans. There were also gay men who had made a career of performing in drag. But there were also trans women performing, and seeing them was very, very special for me, because
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I mean, just stopping it there. I remember I went to see in the UK. We had, we still do. There's a group of, it's called the Lady Boys of Bangkok, and they come around the UK and they do a show. And I remember going to see Lady Boys of Bangkok before I came out as trans. And the reason I wanted to go see that was because I wanted to see other trans women on stage. It was a way for me to do it. Now I wasn't open about being trans at that time, but it was something that I knew, and that's one of the reasons why I went to see it, because I wanted to see other trans women on stage. So I can relate to this in the fact that I went to see shows where they had trans women because I wanted to see women like myself, because I wanted to know what it was to be like that. Let's see. American teenagers burned all. Oh, yes. Sorry, we already read that. Thank you, Rochelle. Okay, we'll carry on. So I'm rereading comments here. Okay.
I was able to see that it was possible to live that way.
The best-known trans performer at the time was Romy Haag, whose parties were one of the reasons why disreputable West Berlin became a hotspot for misfits and the art community. The Dutch national arrived in Berlin in the 1970s. Before that, she'd been a dancer at the famous Paris nightclub Alcazar.
She was an absolute idol, of course. She looked amazing, and that alone made her a role model.
In 1974, Romy Haag opened her travestie club, Chez Romy Haag, in West Berlin. It quickly became a popular venue with those seeking a more open, inclusive nightlife experience.
So I've never heard of this one before, so this is something new for me. Romy Haag. So yeah, this is someone new that I've not heard about in trans history before. It's like a few famous faces here. I mean, obviously the David Bowie. I think before we had it was Mick Jagger before we saw. I'm not sure, is this Iggy Pop? I'm not sure, but yeah, there's a lot of famous faces there.
This was when Romy Haag started dating David Bowie. The singer liked to play with gender roles and adopted an androgynous look. In
So I didn't know that. I didn't know that Bowie had dated a trans woman. I didn't know that.
Rebel, he sings about a mother who's annoyed by her child's confusion.
I can't play any of the music, so it says you've got your mother in a whirl. She's not sure if you're a boy or girl. Well, yes, I've heard those stories before. Okay. But yeah, I can't play any music. Sorry.
At the same time, dancer Marlo La Fantastique was lured by Berlin's free spirit and arrived from the United States. She loved the city so much she ended up staying for 30 years. She also worked with Romy Haag for a time.
Well, she was a star coming from Paris, and she was already established with her name. And she came to Chez Nous, and we worked, I think, a whole 6 months. She was a quiet, enjoyable person.
Yeah, it seems like in the past we see a lot of like trans people were involved in performances and things like that. I mean, I'd probably be useless at that, you know. I don't know if I could do singing and dancing and things, but I do like it. It's just I don't think I'd be very good at it myself. Let's see. Wish my egg finally cracked 8 years ago. Oh, whilst my egg finally cracked 8 years ago. Sorry. After finding trans people online and starting transition, I still have never met a trans person in real life. Oh, right. Okay. Well, you're trans yourself, aren't you, Rachel? So you have met a trans person yourself. But yeah, I understand. So are you don't know any trans people in the area you live? Do you live in a city, or do you live in the countryside, or more remote? You know, I guess it could be different. One thing I've definitely noticed that over the years, I start to see more trans people day to day here in the UK, in my city. But I do live in a city. I do see more trans people day to day now. It's more regular. Not every day. Well, I mean, I do see one every day because my roommate's trans, so I do see one every day. But I see other trans people I don't know in public. You know, especially young trans people, because we have a university and colleges in my city, and a lot of young trans people, they do decide to transition while they're at university or college. So I do see a lot of young trans people in my city most days, quite regularly.
Before Chez Romy Haag, there was the Chez Nous, Berlin's oldest queer cabaret, or travesti theater as they are called. Famed throughout Europe, it opened in 1958 and closed in 2008.
I know when I've been to like these cabarets and things like that, I've seen like there'll be like a person that'll be dressed half as like a man and then half as a woman. They did it at that Lady Boys of Bangkok show that I went to, but I've seen it on other shows as well, the cabarets that I've been to. So these are like kind of a popular kind of cabaret thing that exists.
I had a contract, exclusive contract, to work in Cabaret Chez Nous by the original owner and founder of the cabaret. And I left from New York, going to Berlin. After my contract with Chez Nous, which was a year, then I ended up staying and working in other clubs and cabarets and theaters.
Malo.
Cabaret and especially cross-dressing were in vogue at the time. Marlo.
Yeah, I mean, I think cabaret shows definitely have a more that kind of thing to them, aren't they? They're more cross-dressing and gender, more open, liberal effect, you know, gay and trans and cross-dressing, just more free.
Felt more comfortable and accepted as a trans woman and performer in Germany than in the United States.
Now here in America, it was different. It was just a different type of politics. And the girls were discriminated against very badly. But Berlin was just different. And I liked it. And Germany was very exciting. And they were all very broad-minded, fantastic people. And they loved travesties.
So last week for the movie club, I covered a documentary called Queen at Hearts, and that was a documentary that was made back in the 1960s in America. And in that documentary, they interviewed trans women of the time, and they were more or less saying it was more or less illegal to be who they were, and saying things that they had to, in the daytime, they had to live as men. But when the weekends or in the evenings, they could go out as themselves. And most of them saw it as they needed to get their gender confirmation surgery before they could live full time as women, and that's how they felt. But it did feel like in America at that time, back in the 1960s, it was like treated just as a mental illness, that you could be changed, that if you were trans, you could be forced to be not trans. So it's a very sad time for a lot of people back in, like, I would say well, not sad. I mean, they got to live, they lived who they were. They knew who they were. But it's sad in the fact that society treated them as not who they were. So, yeah.
The nightclubs and cabarets shaped West Berlin's image around the world. In East Berlin, there was also a small, connected queer scene. In communist East Germany, Nadia Schallenberg lived openly as a trans person and was an activist in the queer community groups.
So yeah, this is gonna be interesting because, I mean, everything I know about Russia is basically they don't accept LGBTQ plus people. So now we're going to see somebody who actually was living in the east part of Germany, which was controlled by the Russian side. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes about how they lived their life there.
One of her main meeting places was the Sonntagsclub, which still exists today.
Berlin was always a melting pot for all kinds of people in East Germany, for intellectuals, homosexuals, artists and misfits. There wasn't much information in the 80s, neither in West Germany nor in the East. And what you did see in the media was almost always presented in a very negative light. A man in women's clothing, that was something out of the movies.
I mean, even for myself growing up, what I saw on TV was always the portrayal in a more negative light. I always felt like we were all, for trans people, it wasn't really trans people that I saw online, it was more cross-dressers. And I mean, I'm saying some of these people, cross-dressers, were probably trans, but it was always kind of made out as more of as a joke, more as a mental illness, more as not something to be desirable to be that way. And it definitely made me feel like I didn't want to be that. I wanted to live as a woman, I wanted to pass as a woman. I didn't want to be seen as a man in a dress. It was something I really did not want to happen. And obviously, when I discovered the fact of being trans and learned more that there was such things as hormones, that actually trans women lived their lives and passed and got through life, and it wasn't seen that way, that's when I realized that actually I could be myself, and I didn't need to fear all these things. And as acceptance has grown, started to grow in the UK, I felt more comfortable to be myself and open about who I was. So really, going backwards now for people, I think is a terrible thing, because it is this thing like we were just getting this acceptance, and it's such a good thing to be yourself once you get to just live your life, live your life and be the correct pronouns being used and everything. It's an amazing thing. It's just so sad to see that there's people trying to pull us back to this time period.
In East Berlin, Charlotte von Malsdorf was a pioneer in the trans community. She began collecting everyday objects in the 1950s and exhibiting them in the Gutshaus Malsdorf. The manor house became a Wilhelminian-era museum and a famous meeting place for East Berlin's queer community.
So there's all these places I've never heard of, but I'm really glad I'm watching this with you all tonight because I'm learning a lot about these places. So definitely after the show tonight, I'm definitely going to be looking back on some of these things and looking at some of these places. Yeah, it's really interesting. Thank you for the unknown history regarding trans people. I am from 1958. I think my parents avoided for the information until the 1980s. Never heard of existence of trans. Well, the thing is, I think a lot of people were taught, even your parents and generations before us were taught that there was not a positive thing to be trans. In fact, it was illegal a lot of time to be trans or gay. So nobody's going to be trying to teach their children about it or know about it. The thing is now, in a lot of Western countries, we do have trans education in a sense. We do have books, we have things, and children do have access to these things. But there is certain groups. Let's be honest with you, the Trump regime is trying to remove books in America, trying to stop any education of trans people in the schools in America. That is true. In the UK, they have tried to do some changes already, but the big change could happen in the next election here in the UK. And like I said, if we do end up with a more right-leaning party, and if Reform do get in, they do plan to erase any education for trans people under the age of 16. They see it as not. They don't believe in it. They don't believe that trans people exist. So it is possible that they might do this. That we might see this happen. I hope not. But why? If you're a person out there, just a normal person, doesn't know anything about trans people, you're just living your life, and you just know that there's trans and gay people. You don't have any friends that are trans or gay, and you're hearing the government saying to you, "Oh well, we're getting rid of the books for trans people because we don't want young people to know it." You would think it was something bad, so you would agree with it, not realizing that actually that's a lifeline to a lot of trans people. Plus, it's also good education for all people to know about, cis people as well, to know about who trans people are. The image was always negative. It always has been. Even my lifetime has been negative, and it's still put across that. How many times do you hear? Well, you probably, if you don't, I follow a lot of news to do with trans subjects, and many times I sometimes see they'll say trans woman. There was something recently, a trans woman, she killed her husband, and in the story it said trans woman kills her husband, and I was like, oh, is that important that she's trans? Because yeah, she killed her husband. Well, why you mention that she's transgender? Why do you mention that? I saw something the other day in Thailand. There was some news, and it said that a trans woman had robbed a man in his car. She'd robbed something from him, and I said, "Why do you need to tell us that she's trans? Why is that important? Why is it important if the crime or what they're talking about is nothing to do with them being trans? For example, okay, my channel is to do a lot with trans issues, so I guess if I was talked about on the news or something, they might say trans YouTuber. Fair enough, I probably accept that. But if I didn't talk about trans issues and I was talking about music, for example, and they said, "Oh, trans musician," I kind of wouldn't think that was make any sense unless my music was about being trans. I'd say, well, why are you talking about that? Like, I just think if it's nothing to do with the news story, why you mention it? But they love to do it. They love to use it, and the reason they do that is because if it's something bad, they can. It's like a trans woman robs a man, trans woman kills a man. That's why it's used against us. I don't know why they do it, but they do it. It's always put in a negative light, being trans, for some reason, in the media anyway.
After coming out, I met Charlotte, and that's how I found the community. Lottchen was already well known in the East German scene, but after German reunification, people's awareness about her grew a lot.
Charlotte von Malsdorf received the Federal Order of Merit, Germany's highest order, in 1992. She passed away in 2002. She too paved the way for today's more tolerant Berlin.
So there's been a lot of people in Berlin that have really helped to bring this more like one of the trans people said at the beginning of this video, a utopian city in a way.
At the Gay Museum in Berlin, an exhibition is dedicated to the efforts of trans activists like Charlotte von Mausdorf and Nadia Schallenberg.
Chapter 4. How do trans people live in Berlin today, and what problems do they face?
I think it's definitely worth a visit to Berlin just to see some of these things. I definitely an interest now in this myself. I mean, and if I do decide to go for a trip there, I will definitely bring my camera with me, and I will definitely blog when I go. So if you're on, if you're supporting this channel or you're on this channel, I might consider going myself for a short trip. Though it's not as easy for the people in the UK now to travel into Europe as it used to be because we had Brexit. But still, I will. It's not that far for me to go, so I might take a visit to Berlin just to kind of look at some of this history. And when I do, I will take my camera with me and share it all with you.
There are many spaces in Berlin that can act as safe harbors for trans people, but not universally as a city as a whole. This huge dimension of hate crimes and violence and discrimination that we experience in the streets, in our workplaces, and in our social environments.
Yeah, so nowhere is a utopia, and I don't believe that there is anywhere on this planet at the moment that is a utopia for transgender people. However, when we say utopia, maybe we need to kind of say in the fact compared to some other countries, is Germany a utopia for trans people compared to Russia? I think so. Compared to Saudi Arabia, compared to China, most likely. For a trans person, probably is like a utopia, and maybe for LGBTQ plus people in general. Is it for a British person like myself? Probably not a massive difference, but there will be a difference, I presume, in the sense that it's a bit more forward thinking and there's more like-minded people there in that sense. But I will go visit. I will go visit because that's the only way to know. The best way to know anything is to go visit. I'm not going to go visit Russia. Let me put that clear. I'm not going to go to Saudi Arabia. I think that's too much. But to know for sure, it's best to go actually to the country. So I'm not going to go to any country like Russia or Saudi Arabia. But I think Berlin, Germany, I think is probably fine for me to visit. I first heard of trans in the early 60s when an American discarded Marine who had SRS and became well known as Christina Jorgensen. Yes, I know of Christine Jorgensen. I did cover a little bit in my history video that I did, so do check that video out. It's on this channel. And I do want to do some more videos on her. I was maybe thinking I might cover in one of the live shows like this. I might do a full documentary video on her, or I might even create my own little documentary and share it with you all on a live stream. So yeah, look out for that, because yeah, she is a pioneer, especially one of the first, I think the first American trans women to get gender confirmation surgery in America. Berlin, yes, I'm going with you. Oh well, why not? Why not? Let's maybe think about something next year. Look, let's see how things go. I'll just pause for a bit. One of the things that I'm hoping to do with this channel, and I've been doing, look, I'll be honest with you, the community is growing. We are getting a bigger community. And anybody out there who's watching this who'd like to be part of the community, you can join very easily. Just look underneath this video. I do have links for channel supporters. That's the first step. If you want to join the channel, just £1 a month, or in your currency, could be in euros, could be your dollars, whatever you have. You can join. It's equivalent of £1, and you get 4 live shows every Sunday. Every Sunday you get a live show, and you'll be part of the community and access to Discord and our private Discord section. If you want to become a community member, it's a little bit more. It's £4, but you get access to the movie club and YouTube Watch, which is just for those people every week. So basically, we are building a community here, and when I do travel places, I do have plans to meet people. So if that's something you're interested, it probably will be for community members and channel supporters. But I am going to do that, yeah. So you never know. We might maybe organize some to go to Germany and do a meetup in Germany. It's very possible. So Marja, it is possible that I might do a German meetup, a Berlin meetup, if we get people in Berlin, of course. I must admit, right now, I don't have many people in Berlin. I know you're not in Berlin area, in Netherlands, aren't you? So you would be traveling as well. But if people want to travel and meet up there, that's okay as well. You know, I might organize the meetup there, and if people want to travel, that's fine as well. If we're going to do that, we should do it. We should do. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to do something like that. Was it? Well, yes, I'd like that. Yes. Well, it's possible. Like I say, I mean, the way I would do it is probably through the channel, and we'd organize it all properly, and then we'd organize somewhere we could all meet up, and then you never know, we could always do the blog all together and go visit different locations in Germany, you know. But we'd organize it, we'd do it properly. I hear of trans on TV, but my first encounter, heard of trans on TV. My first encounter was when I left home to New York City. I saw them as natural, different, but natural. Yeah, well, that's great, Franny. So that's where you first came across trans people and stuff. Yeah, it was just like for me, it was just like slowly, because when I was growing up, there wasn't really much information on trans people. It was just stuff on TV that didn't really. It was mainly cross dressers, to be honest with you. And then when I I said that we had the Lady Boys of Bangkok, and trans people just started to become more visible there was more TV programs where they had more trans people. I mean, we covered something the other week. Was it something about Miriam? That TV show, and I remember watching that as well. So I did have access to more these trans women that were like, oh, they're not cross dressers; they're actually women. It's like I see a woman there, and and I was like, oh, so it is possible to present as myself more. So I was excited about that. That's what made me be able to become who I am today. I'll meet you. Yeah, it's very possible, Marja. I mean, it'll probably be next year now, but it's possible. It's something that I'm interested in doing, definitely. So yeah, let's all do that. It'll be really good next year. It's a good idea. Okay, let's watch some more of this video. See what else this says. This is about now. So what is it like now for trans people in Berlin?
It's difficult to gauge the exact extent of violence against queer people. Until recently, only a fraction of anti-LGBTQI crime was recorded by the authorities. In 2020, however, Berlin became the first German state to publish an annual report monitoring the homophobic and transphobic violence. In 2021, the Victim Support Center Maneo registered a spike in reports. Despite an estimated 80 to 90% of incidents going unreported, the center recorded 731 cases of insults, threats, and attacks against transgender people, gays, and lesbians.
So, like I say, Berlin isn't a perfect place. Nowhere is. And you're going to still have hate crimes. You're still going to have people like this, which is not acceptable. One hate crime is not acceptable, but they are going to exist. So we need to accept that, we still unfortunately live in a world where there is people out there that just hate on people. But I'm sure I think Berlin has a lot more positivities than a lot of other places.
In this in-between phase where they can't tell if you're a woman or a man, people get really angry. They just get angry that they can't figure it out, And so, people spit at you, or I had boys who would squirt water at me with squirt guns or something like that, that stuff like that happens all the time.
And I think that this is all again with education. If you teach young people from a young age, I'm saying first day at school, you start teaching people about trans and LGBTQ plus people, they're going to grow up knowing about trans people, going to know trans people in their school, going to have friends that are trans, or just know that there's trans people in school, and it just becomes normal part of society. And if you can make sure that trans people are accepted as part of the society, just a normal part of society, do you know what will happen? No one will even talk about trans people. It just will not be a thing. You'll transition when you're ready to transition. And if people know you're trans, they'll just say, okay, What's the difference? To them, it will be nothing, because if you educate from a young age, people know, and people trying to stop that are the ones that are causing the problem for the future, because society will be much better off if we can just allow trans people to exist in society. Like he said, people confuse people because they're confused. Do you know these people? They aren't good people. What they do to us, I know that. But do you know why they do it? Because they are confused. Because they're the ones that are confused. We're not confused. We know who we are. We know who we are. Those people are confused because they've never been taught about trans people, and they attack us because they don't. They lash out because they don't know. They're fearful. Why? They don't have the education. It will take generations to teach this. You see in America now where Trump is trying to stop that education in schools and stuff. Those children will grow up and teach their children anti-trans and anti-gay way of bringing them up. But if you start teaching younger generation, that generation will grow up and then will teach their children how to respect people. That's how you improve a society, and that's what we should be doing, and that is what should be done.
One time I was walking home late at night, and a boy was riding his bicycle, and he was just like harassing me, and it was really scary. It was really late at night, and there wasn't anybody around.
And it is not only the fear of hate crime that weighs heavily on members of the trans community. Those who hope for fast and uncomplicated medical treatment in Berlin may also be disappointed.
And if we talk about Germany specifically, then there is the issue of massive barriers for trans people when they're entering the medical system looking for gender-affirming treatments. Some of these barriers may include extensive waiting periods before access to hormone replacement therapies or any kind of other medical procedures. There are long waiting periods with discriminating and humiliating processes that are part of that.
So this is something that we haven't talked about so far in this video, but the waiting lists. There was a waiting list published recently in the UK for we have in the UK we have like gender clinics in the UK that you need to go to. We still have to go through a lot of processes to access hormones and things like that. So when you hear they'll say online, they'll say that it's really easy to access hormones. I don't know different countries, but in the UK it's very difficult to access hormones and gender affirming care. So I'm just on my I'm on my Discord here, and any of you can access this. Like I said, that I've put a link below this video for my my Discord. But if we go up here, I think I've put a piece in about this earlier on. I remember covering it. This one here. Gender clinic files. Some people in Scotland will have to get gender clinic appointment. I'll say they have to wait 224 years on a waiting list. Yes. So this waiting list is basically, I think you can see it. So this is for the UK. So there's a list. It tells you how long you have to wait for each clinic. If I go down, here we go. So I'll make sure you can see this. I think you can see it. Okay. Yeah. So if you live in the UK and you want to go to get hormones and gender affirming care, let's have a look. So in Belfast, you have to wait 41 years. 41 years on a waiting list. So you can't get healthcare if you live in Belfast. Edinburgh says 1 year. Okay, that's not too bad. 1 year is pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not bad compared to the other ones. Exeter, 31 years. Glasgow, 224 years. So yeah, right. So never. Okay. Where's this? Grampian. I've never heard of that place. Okay, 5 years. Highlands. I guess these are Scotland. No years. Oh, well, that's probably the best one. I go to the Highlands then. Leeds, where I live. 14 years. 14 years in Leeds. Tavistock. I didn't know Tavistock was still around. 12 years. London Trans Plus, that's where I went to get my hormones eventually. 1 year, that's where I went. So that's where I got mine from. London Trans Plus. Manchester, 2 years. Newcastle, 18 years. Where's that? Can't see it from here. Northend? Okay, I don't know. I'll probably pronounce that wrong. 17 years. Nottingham, 3 years. Sheffield, 10 years. Wales Gender Services, 2 years. So So you can see it takes a long. That's the UK. That's how long it takes for us to access hormones in the UK. So it's a long wait. It's a long wait. I know there's other countries where it's a lot easier, but in the UK we have to wait a long time. It's not easy for us. You pronounce my name completely well by now. Ha ha ha. Oh well, I'm glad. I'm trying. I'll try to Marja. Yeah. Okay. I'll keep trying. But thank you. Jay was. I don't know. Is that? I don't know. You're saying that is okay. Problem. I have to. You have to translate that one. I don't know. You said that. Oh, Phono HRT can get the ball rolling whilst you're waiting for medical HRT. Yes, I know you mentioned this before, and I know you've shared this, Franny, on the Discord. So if anybody who's interested in this, go on the Discord and you get some more information, because Franny has shared this this on Discord. Yeah, I will say that you know, the danger as well is that people might go to the black market to get access to hormones, because you know, obviously we have the internet now and it's quite easy. But the only problem with that is you don't know where you're getting it from. I lived in Thailand, and when I lived in Thailand, I could just go to the pharmacy down the road and just pick some up. So it was very easy to access hormones in Thailand. But yeah, I mean, the best thing, you should do it through a doctor, and you should get them through the doctor. That's the best way. But obviously, if you're waiting 224 years, to be honest, if you live in Glasgow, what other option have you got? What other? You tell me. What are you going to do? Wait 224 years before you can get hormones?
Despite many obstacles, trans people are becoming more visible in society. In 2021, voters elected the first 2 trans women to the German parliament, the Bundestag. Internationally, the spotlight is on Hollywood stars like Elliot Page or Michaela J. Rodriguez, who raise awareness about diversity.
There were many decades of...
Yeah, I mean, it's good that we are seeing more movie stars and people in the media. So there is more visibility out there, and that's a good thing. Like I said, I feel like myself, just putting myself out there, it's visibility, and that's what we need. We do need it.
Of activism and resistance and risk-taking by many people, particularly by people who could not hide who they were, and who can't hide who they are. Oftentimes, it's people who don't fit into the categories, and who don't have the option of hiding, right? It's people who are trans and present as trans.
I think the history of like the queer community in Berlin is still important till today, because like our chosen family, our ancestors did a lot of work, like also under very harsh condition, and I think like it's their work and their passion which allows us today to have these spaces, to have the knowledge, and to have the idea of what it could mean being trans, being queer. And
Yeah, I'll just pause there. I got to say that, you know, a lot with like Pride. I know today Pride, some people even kind of confused why we have Pride. They say, oh, well, you've got rights and stuff. We don't have full rights, and so Pride is still very important. I think as well, Pride shows other countries like, shall I say, like again, Russia, Saudi Arabia, China. We represent. We're not just having Pride for us. We're having Pride festivals to show these other countries, you know, that we're standing for their rights as well. We care about trans people in other countries. I care about people in Russia, trans people in Russia. I care about trans people in Saudi Arabia and China, and anyone in the LGBTQ plus community. I care about them, and I think that Pride is important because we're still fighting for their rights as well. But definitely in recent years, now that we've started to see our rights taken away, definitely there's even more reason to go to Pride and be part of Pride. And I definitely want to be part of Pride more next year. I'm hoping to go to some events. And you know, that's the thing. It's being seen, being out there, being visible, and celebrating something. So, you know, if anyone ever asks why we have Pride now, I mean, that's why we have Pride, because the world itself still has not accepted LGBTQ plus people. We still need it.
I'm very thankful, and I think like it's one of the important part of being queer to honor the people, who have worked for it, who have died for it, who have suffered for it. And I think it's important to acknowledge that every single time you're being out and queer.
Although the struggle for more tolerance and diversity continues, the city's past offers some hope.
I think as a trans person in Berlin, but I think I see it becoming more of a sort of interconnected, caring system. So I see things like that getting even better in Berlin.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I mean, because it seems like he said before, that he felt it was more like a utopia in a sense. I really hope that carries on like that. I hope that we don't see more right-wing politicians taking rights away from trans people there and LGBTQ plus people. I really hope not, because I'm definitely really now fired up to go for a visit there. So it's something I'm really serious about. I really would like to go see it, and I want to visit these places that they've been talking about.
Berlin is definitely home, and I would like it to stay as my home.
Ja, eine Handlung, klar wie der Tag. Da weiß man, woran man ist. Das ist unser Fall, sagt man sich.
I expect that as an artist, as like a singer, I will probably move a couple of times for jobs, but Berlin will always be home.
Okay.
Berlin, the rainbow capital. It might not be a trans person's paradise yet, but the city remains a refuge for queer people seeking an open community, just as it has been for over a century. What is your experience with queer or trans life in your country? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, well, do let us know in the comments, because I'd be very much interested in, you know, everyone's opinion about their home, their country they're from, and their experiences. I definitely, after watching that video, I'm really glad that I did choose that video to watch today for YouTube Watch, because it really opened my eyes to some things, and it's definitely made me feel like I want to go visit Germany, visit Berlin, just to see those places and actually see how it does feel there. Because, you know, the things that are happening here in the UK, who knows? I might need to find another place to go live if we see a right-wing party taking over in this country. Let me read some of your comments. Let me see. Wait a minute. Oh, what did you say here? I'm not sure what you said here, Marja. You might need to translate that for me. As a chemist, you can make estrogen starting with yams. Really? Okay. Well, if you can share that information on the if you could share that information, Franny, on Discord, let us know. I mean, if it's safe to do and everything, then sure, please share that information on how to do that. Could be helpful for some people. I mean, it's definitely, if there's anybody watching in Glasgow, they might need that help. The waiting times here are 2 to 4 years, but there will be more online support. If so, do that. It will cost more over collaborating, but you will be on the hormones within a year. Right. Okay. Well, I mean, about the hormones in the UK, they're trying to offer some more support while you're on the waiting list. But if you're waiting 200 plus years, well, you're not going to get any hormones. So it looks like people in Glasgow can't get hormones by the looks of it. But the thing is, here, I mean, I said, like before, I lived in Thailand, and to access the hormones there, like I said, you can just go to a pharmacy. So, you know, so it depends where you live, doesn't it? Depends where you live. I've heard in certain American states it's pretty quick to get hormones, and then in some states you can't get hormones at all. I think it's normally if you're in a Democratic state or a Republican state, it depends if you can access hormones or not. So yeah, so it's very interesting. The world is strange with this. Adding yams to your diet works well with HRT, right? Okay. Oh well, you know, well then that's that's one way of doing it, isn't it? I have heard of different food being being able to help with HRT and stuff. So, you know, if it helps, doesn't it? It's a good idea. But yeah, maybe we should all be having yams. So anyway, yeah, I'd say thanks for watching this today. I mean, normally I'm planning to just have these longer videos for the people who become community members. So if you're interested in that, please consider becoming a community member and joining the membership. Or if you want, you can just become a channel supporter. That also, you won't get access to the movie club and YouTube Watch, but you will get access to videos. You get access to the Sunday show every week. Now, bear with me, woman. I said I was going to find that J.K. Rowling tweet. I want to find it. Let me just see. Let's see if I can find this. Because she did write something about it, but how can I find it now? But anyway, but it doesn't matter if I can't. If I can't find it, can't find it. But she did write about it. But I don't know. It seems like it's been disappeared from the internet now. Oh wait, there's something here, but it's really small. Is this it? I don't know if she did it in reply to someone. Okay, it's too small. I don't know why it's so small on my computer. But anyway, so yeah, it's on Reddit. Let me see if I can see it on here. If I can find it, I will share it with you all. No, she just complains about so many things. I'll find it and I'll share it on Discord or something like that when I find it. I think that's the best way. I'll find the tweet that J.K. Rowling did. I'll put it on Discord. Okay, so if you're watching this now and you're not on Discord, let me send you the Discord link it's underneath this video, but I'll just send it in the chat section now. Let me see, where is it? Discord link. Yeah, this is it. So I recommend everyone to join this because there's a really good way you can speak with me and you can speak with other community members and channel support members. So it's in the chat section now. If you use that, you'll be able to chat with any of us and get information on hormones, get information on like the video we watched today, and you also see the tweet that I'm going to share of J.K. Rowling when I find it. I did have it once before because I made a video about it, but it was a long time ago and I did that. I should just kept it somewhere. Then again, but I really like keeping nasty people's tweets. Anyway, and also let me share this. If you're not a member, you see, if anybody on this channel has like a green tag on their thing, like their name, that means they're a channel member or a community member. So if you want to be green, here's the link. I'll just send it now. The link I've just put in the chat, that's to become a channel member. But you can also become a community member there if you want. Okay, I see Marja sent me a message. Thank you for the beautiful evening with you. I have learned and hope to agree. Yeah, well, thank you, Marja. I mean, this is what I do on here. It's a lot of education side for trans issues, and I'm really interested not just in the ones that I'm sharing, but your information from your side, whatever it is about your country, about what you're going through. Every bit of information is welcome here on this channel. So I'm glad that you got something from tonight. And I do this all the time. It's every week. So it's nearly every day, to be honest with you. I love learning myself. So it's something I do. So thank you for being here. So I think we're near the end of the show tonight. I think that's it. I mean, if anybody wants to send a donation, I mean, I'll put the link again in the chat. If anyone wants to send a donation, please consider donating to the channel as well. If you just want to donate, that's fine. Let me put the link in because it is part of the channel, really. It just helps the channel move along and stuff, and helps us to be here, really. But like I say, it's entirely up to you if you want to donate to the channel, but there's the link. So it's the best way to do it is to go to Buy Me a Coffee, and you can send donations there if you want to send a donation for the channel. But if not, please become a channel supporter or a community member. Both also help the channel. So whatever you choose to do. But yeah, I think we've done quite well tonight. It's nearly midnight here in the UK, but I think we'll call it a night tonight. Tomorrow we have a live show, probably going to be around 7 p.m. hopefully. But it can go on a lot later if there's some of you in America, some of you are in other parts like New Zealand and the Netherlands and stuff. So I might keep it going quite long, but it's a private show. And to have access to that show, you do need to become at least a channel supporter. So if you'd like to see tomorrow night's show, please join the channel support. Like I said, it's just £1 and you can be part of the channel. Okay, then. So, yes, good night, Raquel. Good night, Rachel, Marja, and friends. Yes, good night. Well, I'll say good night as well to everyone. I thank you for watching tonight. I really enjoyed tonight. I've learned a lot about Berlin, and yeah, I'm going to visit there. I'm definitely going to visit there. Very interested in it. Okay, well, thank you for tonight. I think we'll call it a night. Yeah. Should we all go now? Let's all go and relax now. And thank you for being here. We learn from each other. Yes, we do. That is magic. We learn from each other. I'm happy to put videos out here and chat about the videos and talk with you. But we also have our own experiences and personal things. So I think let's just share them with each other. Yes, and thank you, Franny, for being here as well. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay, then. I'm going to say good night. Hopefully I will see you all tomorrow, probably around 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time, and we'll carry on the show as long as we want to go on. Okay, good night. See you tomorrow.